Welcome y'all to this week's episode of Ducking Reality. Today in the house we have Camilo. Welcome.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Camilla is the founder and CEO
let's call it
Winning
that.
State.
I do
Winning
everything.
Mind State.
Winning Mind State, yes, ma'am.
I like it. So, well, tell us what the Winning Mind State is first off, and then we'll get into who you are and how you ended up here.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. During the pandemic, my girlfriend and I found out that she was pregnant.
Ooh.
And it was an interesting time because I'd been laid off, right? I was very unsure of what my future was going to be. Mm-hmm. But I was very confident and, really secure in the fact that I knew I was in love with her, and I, wasn't afraid of having a baby with her. Right. And that was a cool moment for me in my life because I'd always been kind of like, yo, I don't want to have any kids yet. Yeah. And I wasn't going to fight the way things happen. Right. She was on birth control and she still got pregnant. And I was like, yo, I'm not going to argue with that. Right. Like, I'm not going to fight with that. It's meant to be. But because she was on birth control, she had a miscarriage maybe a couple weeks after we found out. And, during the time that I was preparing to like be a father, I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. And my cousin at that time was
you haven't disowned that cousin yet?
No, I don't have the plan to do that ever. But at the time, him and I were talking about just my need for having my own business. I've always had an entrepreneurial mindset, and it just seemed like everything was aligning for me to just go out and take my passion for fitness and actually do it for myself. And that's where I came up with the idea for a company name, mm-hmm. right? And Winning Mind State, for me, was more than anything just through my own experience in life. Whenever I've dialed in and focused on my health and wellness, more importantly from a place of self-love than like self-hate. Like I'm pouring and investing that energy into my body for the improvement. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to tear myself down in the hopes of feeling better about myself. I'm trying to build myself up and make this temple that I have really beautiful to look at. Right. That's that's my approach when I work out or get into it really seriously. And I've always just been able to apply lessons that I get from working out in life, which is like, can I cuss?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Like, don't be a bitch.
Yeah.
Work through discomfort. Mm-hmm. Right. Learning that in life, the things you really want, if you are chasing something that is above the crowd, those things are hard to get. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to get them just easily or comfortably. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to put in some elbow grease and some pain. And being able to take that and apply it in life has personally allowed me to win at what I would call what I've been trying to do with my life, which is like live a life pursuing my passion, right? And I feel like I'm aware that I want to be further ahead than where I'm at right now. But if I were to have a conversation with my 19-year-old self or my 18-year-old self, I think I would make him super happy to know that this is like the future that he's expecting to live. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I feel like I would define how I've been living my life as an adult since I've pursued fitness as my like passion as a win, right? And I feel like more than anything, it's the state of mind that exercising and taking care of your body places you in that allows you to chase after wins, and so I feel like when I train my athletes, I want them to understand that the stuff they do in the gym and the discipline that they learn to develop can help them endure things, you know what I'm saying? And get through things. And so when my girlfriend had her miscarriage, it was a very sad situation. But it's almost like in hindsight, looking back on it, it's like that situation brought about the name for my brand that I don't really feel like I would have even thought about had that situation not presented itself. And I had to be like, whoa, fuck, I got to step it up and be a dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Is as terrible as it is that she went through, or that you both went through it, because you do both go through it.
Yeah.
You looked at it and said, like, what can I learn from it? What can I take from it that's positive?
Yeah. Like you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can dwell on the sadness for longer than it can be productive for you.
Yeah. I think that's like the way that's the best way to move through life is like shit happens and some of it doesn't make any sense. Because I hate people that are like, well, everything happens for a reason. No, some shit just happens. Like, but if you can find a reason, then it makes that kind of thing better.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's weird. I don't even know how you would describe it. Where you just said somebody will say everything happens for a reason. Sometimes you're like, nah, shit just happens, but you can find a reason.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it's like everything does happen for a reason, but it's on you to see it from that perspective.
Yeah.
You know, to really try and look at things from a glass half full perspective, even though it might look very half empty, right?
Or feel empty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because sometimes that shit just hits you. So, but it's like you just said too, like to sit in it for longer than it's productive is where most people get in trouble.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with feeling your feelings and being okay with like accepting that you're sad about something, but eventually it's like, okay, time has passed.
Right.
You're caught in the past right now. Come back to the present.
Yeah. And then it's like, all right, bitch, let's go now.
Yeah. And so for me, that's kind of what it led to. Now I'm like, this summer, it'll be like 3 years since I came up with this brand idea and, you know, been pursuing my business and things are going.
Yeah.
You know, I would definitely want them to grow more and better, but I'm not mad where I'm at right now. And I'm just excited to be on this journey 3 years later.
Yeah.
So that's how this brand name came about.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What did you do? Like, what got you into fitness? What were you doing before that? Or
Yeah, well, I was working at Costco, and I was getting ready to apply or enlist in the Marines.
Oh, okay.
I was 18. Actually, I think I was 19 at the time. Let me take that back. I was not working at Costco. Costco was one of my first jobs. I was actually working at Sunglass Hut.
Okay.
And I was working at a place in Hayward called Buffalo Bills. It's like a restaurant.
Yeah.
So I was like selling sunglasses at a kiosk in the mall, and I was bussing tables. And I was like, this is not what I want to do. And I was like, well, fuck, I don't know what I would want to do. School wasn't ever really something that I believed in. Like, I feel very confident with my intellect, but I didn't ever really think I wanted to spend my time getting some degree. I didn't know what I wanted to
Right.
do in life, right? So I was just more focused on working and, you know, not feeling like not going to college was a waste of my time. Like, I made the decision not to go to college when all my high school class did.
right.
I didn't want to be like 4 years later, they all come out with degrees and I'm still like kicking it, not doing shit, right? So I was trying to figure that out. And I didn't really like bussing tables like that. I didn't like selling glasses was cool, but the money wasn't great. And I was just kind of looking for something to do for the rest of my life or to figure that out. And the Marines seemed like a cool idea simply because it just was maybe like the branch of the military that I knew most about, that had like this prestige about it. And I've always kind of recognized that I struggle with some self-discipline sometimes. So I was like, hey, going through boot camp would put my ass like in a better place to deal with that, right?
Yeah.
Like I would like to go through a Marine boot camp. That's what I wanted to do, right? And then I got hired at a gym, Bally's Total Fitness in San Leandro. I don't know if you've heard of that company.
Bally's?
Bally's.
Yep.
They're not around anymore, like the fitness company, the gyms. But in San Leandro, they had a location.
Okay. They were on the East Coast when I grew up too. So
Yeah, they were big.
They were huge.
They were huge. They just mismanaged the company and had to like sell it off little by little. But my cousin, who is like my mentor in fitness, he's like one of my role models. He's older than me by like 4 years. So I've always looked up to him. He was a personal trainer there. And then he left to go pursue like he was a college football kicker. So he went to
nice.
pursue like a opportunity to walk on at a university in Oregon. And before he left, he asked me if I wanted to work at the gym selling memberships. He said they had like a cool commission structure, and I was already selling sunglasses. So
yeah,
he was
he's like, you
"Dude,
can make more money here.
yeah, you can
And
make
you're
more
like,
money
"Sweet."
here, and you can work at the gym."
Yep.
I was like, "Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna
Were
check
you
that
into
out."
fitness then too? Like,
I've always been into like I played soccer growing up my whole life, soccer, football a little bit. Being healthy and athletic has always been like infused with who I am. Fortunately, like I've had the blessing of never having felt like I couldn't do anything that I wanted physically.
yeah, that's a huge blessing.
It's a huge blessing. I don't take it for granted. You know, I appreciate the upbringing that I had, because I know that people walk around not knowing the potential for movement and strength that they walk with. You know, some people are really lack of confidence in that area, right? And so I'd been working out already had a gym membership, but knew nothing about like strength training. Just what I saw on, you know, a couple of magazines, maybe Instagram, a couple YouTube videos. And when I started working at the gym, well, I applied, got the interview. They loved me. I'm bilingual in San Leandro. Like Spanish is my first language. So they were excited to have me there. The manager, like the GM, took a liking to me because he really respected my cousin. Right. So he was like, okay, if you're Johnny's cousin, you know, you must be a cool person. And then I proved through through my actions that I was like somebody he wanted to have on the staff.
It's so disappointing when you have someone's family or like good friend come in and you're like, oh, you must be cool because this guy's like hella cool. And then you're like, oh, right. How does Johnny have such terrible taste?
Yeah. Right. And so,
but that didn't happen here.
Thankfully not. Right. And so at the time when I got hired, I was still in the process of going through the enlistment with the Marines. And that was my plan. I was like, I'm going to work here. And when it's time for me to go to boot camp, I'm dipping. And I did not get accepted into the Marines because I'd had some knee surgeries in high school. And when I was going through the process at the MEPS, like the entry place, they were like, yeah, bro, like I don't know that we're going to want to invest into you. Yep. And I was like, all right, well, damn, like I can't say anything. Okay, right. See you later. And it was a blessing in disguise. I'm not going to lie. Like, I had plans of going in to be like an aviation technician or electrician, excuse me. So I was going to work on airplanes. That was like what they had told me I was going to do. I graded pretty highly on that little test that they give you, the ASVAB. And it just didn't work out, you know, but.
At least they didn't tell you like, go talk to the Army.
Right. They might have. They might have said something about like, yo, you can go check other branches out. Like we can't take you on. And I was like, well, other branches aren't the Marines, dog. Like I'm
Every Marine listening to this is like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone else is like, fuck you.
I had homies that were in the Marines, and it's just something about the brotherhood and the fact that, you know, like again, like going through boot camp is. So, like Marine boot camp is almost like Navy SEALs, basically. Like you do one or the other. Like there's not a lot of people walking on earth that can say that.
Right.
And I just took like excitement in being able to have that title.
Yeah. Well, you're at 18, you're all ego. And that's, you know, that's what one of the things that the Marines kind of capitalize on. Like 18-year-olds want to come in and be like a Marine because of the prestige. Yeah. Which, I mean, they've earned it. Like, I mean, there are some Marines out there that are douchebags. But most of them.
Everywhere you go, you're going to find some douchebags. And
I just like to remind them, you know, I grew up with a lot of military guys. So I have funny. A few uncles that were Marines or, you know, were because most of them have passed away, but they were Marines. And then I have uncles that were in the military, Navy, or Army and Navy. So to have brothers that were in different branches and to watch that battle growing up was really funny.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's an interesting Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. And then one of my uncles was a Marine and then got out of the Marines and went into and retired as a sergeant major in the Army. Okay. So, you know, he was
a little
like,
bit of both.
Yeah.
He double dipped.
Double dipped. And like, that was always funny to like the brother that was just always a Marine. Like, will you downgrade, you know?
You're not a pure blood anymore, man. Like,
you tainted it.
That's so funny. I never even heard of that. Like, I've never heard of somebody that served on different branches.
Yeah, I hadn't either. And then, but he did, you know.
Hey.
Yeah. Cool. Some guys do what they got to do.
Shout out to him. Thank you for his service.
Yeah, he did a lot of good work. So
yeah, and so at the time when I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna be here. Right. Thankfully, that was the coolest situation because I got paid fat commissions. Yeah, like the commission structure at that gym was wild.
Which is probably why they're out of business.
Probably. Hey,
but
you know
good
what?
For you. Capitalize on that.
You know what? Honestly, in talking to you, and you know, you're helping me think some things because they probably what happened was our gym. Like, man, I'll tell you more about it in a second, but we were just the best at just selling memberships, right? We're just the best. We were putting up the craziest numbers in the company. And I think they maybe were trying to get these like crazy commission structures so we could like sell a lot, so that when they tried to sell the company looked like it was selling a ton.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's what happened. Fuck it.
Right.
I don't care. I was in the right place at the right time. And
Stack that cash.
yeah, well, so I got hired I was 19, right? And my sales manager got promoted like 3 months into me working there.
Nice.
And I got so lucky because he had been there for like 4 years. So anybody that wanted the sales manager role at that gym didn't touch it for 4 years.
Right.
Right. And he got promoted to be the GM at another spot. Right. My GM took a real liking to me because I came in and was just selling everything. Right. Like for me, it was the easiest sell. Like come in here. Like you came in, cool, because you want results, right? Here, we got them. We're going to do like, and they had like my GM taught me how to sell the membership. And I used to basically work people out on their tour.
Right.
You feel me? Like you would come in for like a 7-day pass. I'll be like, hey, let's check out the gym. What do you want to do? Here's how you hit your chest. And here's how you feel your hamstrings. Yeah. Like you like the machine. What do you have to try out, bro? You're here, you're working out.
Right.
Like let's get to the gym. And I would just flip a 7-day pass into a gym membership and personal training.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like I would sell all that and the person would walk out like, whoa, okay. I just came in for a free gift.
Right.
Like I just bought 8 personal training sessions a month for 6 months and I just bought my whole family a gym membership. Like what happened? And I'm like, see you later, boss. You know, I'll see you, you know.
Yeah, see you on Tuesday.
It was straight up Wolf of Wall Street, like at the gym. It was the wildest thing ever. It was the funnest. Well, I've had fun my whole life, but that was a really fun time. And I got promoted to be the assistant manager to take over the sales role, the sales management role, because I was the only one that was putting up numbers and bilingual. There's another chick that was working there who's bilingual, but she wasn't really competing with me from like a number standpoint.
Right.
So it was just like, yeah, I mean, I know you're new, but you want the role? And I was like, hell yeah. So my GM and I became very, very close friends. He's like one of my mentors, you know, awesome. Eric Fogelsong. I'll send him this podcast so you can listen to this chunk. Right. I got none but love and gratitude for that guy because he really was like, dude, this guy in his office, right? From when he started working at Bally's around the same time I did, 18 years old, right? But he'd been there for like 10 years already. And it was like salesperson of the year, salesperson of the year, salesperson of the year, sales manager of the year, sales manager of the year, sales manager of the year, general manager of the year, general manager. Like this guy had been the best at his role in the company every year that he worked there for 10 years. Yeah. He was that guy. Yeah. And he was just like, he kind of like just saw me in him and was just like, okay, I'm going to take this guy under my wing and just try to help him out. And he just laced me with so much game and taught me how to sell and how to look at things differently in life. And, you know, at the start of like my birthday is in January. So I always feel like my year starts at the beginning of the year, right? When I was 20 years old that year, I was able to stack like 25K in like 9 months, right? Because I'm telling you, dude, I was making so much money on commission. It was nuts. We would get, you know, for every $5,000 in volume that I would sell, I would get 1,000 in commission. It's like a 25. It was like a 25%. And then I would get commission on like each membership, right? And then I would get a bonus, and then I would get like commission on like it was just. And I had months where I sold like 25K in personal training, so that's like 5K just off training, you know. So it was like I felt like a drug dealer. I was like, how am I making so much money? I'm 20 years old. I don't know shit. I just know how to work. Dealing health. Yeah. That's exactly what it was. It was the trap house, was the gym. You know, it was a wild time for me. And at the time too, like I had started working out with my cousin. Because for me, when I started trying to sell, I realized quickly that I was a short, skinny dude telling people that they needed to hit the gym, like the weights, to see results. And I would look at myself and be like, man, I don't even look like I work out. You know, like I should start putting on some muscle. And I had been wanting to anyway. So I was in the gym now around trainers. They taught me a little bit about nutrition. And, you know, I worked out with my cousin and one of my best friends, Andrew. I brought him over from Sunglass Hut. That's another reason why I probably got promoted, because I brought this guy, Andrew, that used to sell glasses with me. And dude, we used to work inside of a kiosk inside of a Macy's. Okay. So people weren't even going to get sunglasses. They were walking around looking for underwear or like t-shirts or like shit you would find inside of a men's Macy's. Like, hey man, like, come on over here, check these. I think these will look great on you. Like, like, but we would sell people like that again.
Right.
Just like people walked in with a free guest pass and walk out with a bunch of shit. Same thing. People walk in for like not sunglasses and walk out with like 3 pairs. And that's just who Andrew and I were. And it was like he's one of my best friends, right? Definitely somebody that I would have as part of like my wedding selection of homies and shit. And we've always had like a competitive relationship, but it's never been any animosity.
Right.
I think he just like, we both don't want the other one to be better than us because we think we're really good and we know that they're also really good. And like, we just want to like work hard to try to not let them beat us.
Right. But in like a positive way.
In a positive way. Like there's never been any like me trying to hold him back or anything. We've always tried to help. Like we've always tossed each other alley oops in life and like try to help each other out. You know, like that's why I brought him over to Bally's because I was like, hey, the money over here is way better than the money over there. Come through, you know. And we had like a small competition when it was who was trying to be the sales manager. I was able to beat him out, but I was able to beat him out because I was bilingual. It wasn't because I was just a better salesperson than him. I just had a whole other market that he was never going to work with. So I was always busy. He always had to like work for his sales, but he was always on my ass. And I was like, fuck, if I don't sell these Spanish speakers, I am fucked. So
I gotta tap into the only market he can't.
Hey, so that was like the nature of our competitive relationship, but he's one of my best friends. And so because I brought him over and I just earned my man Eric's like trust in me. And then I also hired this guy who came in for like an interview that he was looking for like a front desk job. And through talking to him, I was like, yo, you kind of be good at sales. Like my eye for talent. I was like, I think this guy would be good at sales. And he was. And he like almost gave Andrew and I a run for our money. He was older too. So it was like, we almost felt like I for sure know because he talked to Eric, he wanted to take my job. He wanted to be he's not cool with me being his boss. So I like had to step my shit up and like not let him beat me. And Andrew was like, we managed to make it so that Andrew was like the assistant sales manager, right? Like they had a budget for like another couple front desk employees, and Eric was like, nah, we're gonna give that to Andrew and bonus him out if he, you know, whatever, and the front desk is gonna be all right, like cool. So Andrew was my assistant sales manager, but Christian wanted to take his job to come after mine,
right?
And I didn't want to let him take my shit because I'd worked for him, you know. So it was just in our team, there's so much competition that we were just not wasting opportunities when people came in to buy a membership. And in that gym, I'm telling you, dude, I wish I have it at home, but in the list, the stats at the end of each month for the whole company, because this was still when Bally's was like all over the country, like 500 plus gyms and shit like that before they started selling off. With New York and us, like it was myself, Andrew, and Christian, and it was always me at the top, and Andrew and Christian were always swapping 2 or 3, but it was like for like 6 months in a row, it was just us 3 at the top in gym membership sales, personal training conversions, and like just overall volume collected. It was just us 3 at the top, and the gym was just the best gym for the year. You know what I'm saying? And so that was just where I made all my commission. We were just selling, saved up all that money. And then towards the end of the year, we thought that we were all going to get promoted because the ownership started to like come around and check us out. Like, whoa, you guys are killing it. Like, you know, hyping us up. Eric thought he was going to get promoted to be like the regional manager. I thought I was going to be the general manager. Andrew thought he was going to be the sales manager. Christian thought he was going to be the assistant sales manager. Like we all thought we were going to take a bump up. And it was hella funny. Right before they told us that things were going to be different, I had invested my money with Eric into a property for a real estate flip, like a property in Cambrian Park in Los Gatos.
Okay.
So it was a really, really affluent neighborhood.
Yeah.
They found a home that belonged to some dude who never did anything on the home. Just let the house go to shit while the whole neighborhood around him like developed. Silicon Valley'd. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a multi-million-dollar neighborhood where homes were like $5-6 million homes. But that was like the black eye of the neighborhood. Right. And Eric's a really intelligent guy. And for his whole career, because he was so good at his job, he hired correctly. So he always had staffs that were just killing it. And so he never worked. So he spent all his time like studying real estate and studying, you know, that whole industry. And he's a very intelligent guy. So he just learned the game. And him and my sales manager, him and my fitness manager, because it was like the three of us were like managing the gym. Yeah. The two of them were friends and they went in on a house. But then I told Eric, like, yo, dude, I hit my goal for the year. I wanted to save up 25 by the end of the year, and I'm here. And it's about to be October. Like, I don't know what to do. Right. And he's like, damn, like, that's wild. Like, you know, don't be an idiot. Like, when I had money when I was your age, I bought a Corvette and da-da-da. He's like, and honestly, like, I'm still doing fine, but like, I wish I had it. Right. I wish I would have done other things because I'm 28 now, right? I could have been 18 buying a house. And I was like, okay, so what do you recommend? And he's like, well, David and I, that was his name. David and I just bought a home in San Jose. We're going to tear it down. We're going to hire the contractors. We're going to build it up. Right. And we're going to sell it for profit. It's going to be a lot of money. I was like, well, shit. I mean, it'd be cool to invest. And he's like, yeah, because, you know, if you think about it, your money's not going to do shit in the bank. Right. You know, put it in with us. It's going to take a while, but you'll get your money back with thousands, not just a couple hundreds. I was like, well, yeah, it sounds like a cool idea. Gave him all my money. Then we get called into a meeting and they announced that we just got sold to 24 Hour Fitness. Oh. And we were all like, oh, we're like, damn, like, what does that mean? Right. Like, what like, we're not going to be Bally's no more. What does that mean? And then what it meant was it's over. Yeah. The fun's done. Like, game over, you know? It was fun while it lasted. 24 came in and it's just a different company. Yeah. You know, I'm not going to sit here and knock them, but they definitely, it was not the situation that we had at Bally's. Right. And you ever watched the movie Mulan? Mm-hmm. There's like that little dog with the little carrot. Yeah. Yeah. That's how I felt working for 24. Yeah. Because they were like, yo, you know, we don't really even pay our people that much. You were making a lot of money, but it was commission. Right. So what we're going to do, normally we pay our people 11 an hour. We're going to pay you 17 because you're really talented and we care about you. Right. But check this out. There's no commission. And we know that's frustrating. However, you get a small bonus. And if you do a really good job, we'll promote you. You'll be a general manager. Right. But you got to show us you're good first. And I was like, man, fuck. So there's no commission. They were like, yeah, no commission. And I was like, all right. And they were like, we don't want to be too salesy. We don't want complaints for being too salesy. Right. I was like, okay. And they're like, but we want you to sell. And I was like, huh? They're like, yeah, no. We want you to sell. But don't sell. Like if they, you know, and I was like, huh? It was just depressing, dude. And they really wanted me to like be a manager. Like they believed in my talent but I was just like, dude, I don't even want to fucking do this shit. Like I'd already had my vision for being a trainer. Like I remember it super vividly when I was in one of these offices. We had a glass like wall window type situation, and I remember just being locked up in there making phone calls, cold calling people, and just like, man, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. Like, granted, like I've always kind of been depressed working because I'm like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. Like I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. Like when I was at Costco, Sunglass Hut, bussing tables. Like, I just was always at work thinking like, God, this is what I got to do for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to do this. And I remember sitting and looking across and just, there were some trainers that worked at the gym that just weren't that great. You know, they weren't that good. And I knew who they were and they were still making cool money. And I like, yeah, they weren't making the money I was making, but they also weren't like hurting. Right. And I was making that money, but I was miserable. Yeah, and they weren't sitting in a glass box. Yeah, like I would procrastinate showing up to work because I had like the freedom to come in whenever. Yeah. So like I would literally wait until like noon to go into work because I would have to work 8 hours, so I'd be done by 9. But I would like delay and getting to the office as much as I could. I would hate going to work. Like, and I was making like $8,000 a month, and I was just like, because every day it was like, oh. If you don't sell, you're a piece of shit. Mm. Like, oh, you killed it yesterday. Yeah. Means today's a new day. Yeah. And I was just not what I wanted to do. And I remember seeing outside the window and I remember thinking like, I would love to be like a trainer and I would love to like I know I would be good at it and I know I would make good money. Mm. I don't know that I thought about being like my own business, but I just thought being a trainer seemed dope. Right.
Which is funny because earlier when you were talking about going into the Marines, you were saying how like you have you thought you had a self-discipline problem.
Well, yeah.
But to be a trainer to me, like you couldn't because one, like you're in amazing shape. Like you have to be because you work out all day, every day. I mean, you don't have to be, but I guess it would be weird if you weren't.
Right.
But also like that takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah. I mean, I guess discipline can fall along a spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that sometimes people like what if I just love exercising? What if it doesn't cost me anything to get up and go work out? I don't think that's discipline. I think that's more like you just enjoy it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah.
Like I don't think it's discipline when you do things you enjoy. I think the discipline comes in when you do things you're not too fond of and you still do them anyway. And that's kind of where I'm coming from with like my discipline side. I'm like, I wasn't really great in school because I just didn't like doing homework. Like I was just like, no, like this is, God, I got to do this with my afternoon. Like I'd rather be watching Sports Center or playing sports outside or like, you know, whatever, socializing with my homies. So
maybe that's just where I hate exercise. I mean, I love it, but I hate it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Like, again, dude, this is why I love training people because I get how not fun exercise has been for some people.
Yeah.
Some people have tried exercising and it's been the worst experience ever.
Yeah. To them, I just say keep trying, like, and find your different thing. Because, you know, like I am not a huge yoga person. I like the idea of yoga.
Sure.
But it's too slow for me. And like to settle into all of those positions is like, it's too much in my body, if that makes sense. For me, like I prefer Pilates. Because for Pilates, you have to think through, like you have to hold in your stomach, you have to breathe, you have to be moving like two different body parts. And it's so much like thought that it's not as much in your body.
Cool. Yeah. I
In
get
a
it.
way.
Yeah. Everybody, likes what they like. And that's the thing about exercising and taking care of your health is it goes beyond like CrossFit.
Yeah. I tried a CrossFit class one day and so I have a neck injury. And so there's certain things like I just can't do. And there are certain things that like if I do anything that's too high impact, like running is not my jam. I can jog slightly. And but running, the more I run the next day, the sorer I am because it's like that impact is too much.
Yeah.
But so I tried to do a CrossFit class, and it's like box jumping and I was just like halfway through, I was like my arm at one point went dead, and I was just standing there waiting, and the trainer's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my arm is just it's not working right now." And he was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah. It's just what happens sometimes, like." The nerves just kind of get overwhelmed. And so my arm stops reacting. And I was just like, I'll be fine in a few minutes. And I was just sitting on the bike, like slowly pedaling and my arm's just kind of dangling. And he just kept looking at me. And I'm like, yeah, this is why I don't go to workout classes as much anymore. Because it gets concerning. And for me, it's not that big of a deal. And to me, it's almost embarrassing.
You know yourself. Yeah. You know you're good.
Yeah. But it's like.
You feel like looked at like everybody's got eyes on you. Like, is she okay?
Yeah. And it's like, and that's attention that I don't like. And it's also just, it's kind of embarrassing to be like, yeah, but my body's just half broken. So it just doesn't work.
I mean, that brings me back to our rope flow class the other day. It was when the moment you told me something was up with your neck, I was like, dude, are you good? Like, I do not want to create more problems. And you were like, yeah, I'm fine. But I was like the same way. I was like, you good? How's your neck? Like,
well, because you went to like correct me and I jumped away. And sometimes I can't even help that reaction.
I respect it. No, I totally get it.
But it was just like, and I went to a pole dancing class a couple weeks ago.
Where at? Here in
Berkeley.
Oh, in Berkeley.
Yeah,
okay.
these two girls, women. One of them has been a lifelong dancer, and her business partner opened up their own pole dancing. It's called Flex Vertical Theater in Berkeley.
Oh, dope.
So it's pole dancing and they have a stage so they can do performances. Yeah, it's amazing. So they do all kinds of classes and burlesque classes and dance classes and It's amazing. So I went to support and take a class and I was there and I was, my left grip is good, but my right grip is shit. Mm-hmm. And some days it's like even weaker. So I was trying and I was just like, yeah. And one of the girls was like, you okay? And we were doing some stretches and she was saying something about her shoulder issue. And so she saw me moving and she's like, your shoulder bothering you? And I was like, yeah, I have a shoulder issue. And then we were doing something else. And I was like, well, my grip sucks. And she's like, what? And I was like, oh, I have a neck injury. And she was like, why are you here? And I was like, oh, I'll probably suck at this, but it's fun. Yeah, and it's like a different way to move your body. Mm-hmm. So it's a different way to learn like what I can do, what I can't do, or just to challenge it. Cause like, I don't know, a long time ago, I said like, fuck whatever the doctors said.
Yeah.
Because if I'd followed what doctors would say, I'd be dead.
True.
I was overprescribed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like a bunch of shit happened. So I was just like, fuck it. I'm going to keep trying different things and I'll keep what works and let go that doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. And it leads me to things like, finding you or finding them and taking classes. And yeah, like sometimes I look like an idiot, but I'm also like getting a different workout and trying like different muscle groups and challenging myself in new ways. And I think that keeps it fun.
Yeah. Props to you for being okay with that. With stepping into a place and feeling like you may not feel very confident, because a lot of people will miss out on great experiences because of a fear to not to be in your position.
Oh, yeah.
I think in life, it's always better when you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Like when you're like, as a guy, for example, like you're going to probably get more girls if you're okay with getting rejected. Don't be a creep when they say no, bro, it's a no, move on.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? But like, there's nothing wrong with shooting your shot. Because if you don't shoot your shot, there's a guarantee it won't go in.
Right.
But if you shoot it, it might go in.
Yeah.
Like
I could have gone to pole dancing and been a savant. Like, we don't know.
And
I could have been a left-handed savant.
And you know what? When it comes to training through injuries, sometimes maybe you just haven't had the right program to help you regain your strength so that you can use that strength to do other things.
Yeah.
Right now, you may not be as strong as you have the potential to be. So when you do other things, you're not able to give that type of effort because you haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Fitness is a beautiful thing. And the more I learn about it, the more I realize that a lot of injuries can be worked through. You just have to be able to find the right dosage of stimulus to make the body respond by trying to become more resilient.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people will do too much and then feel like they can't do in general. But it's like, well, maybe don't do that, but maybe do that. Right. Like holding your body weight with your right hand might be hard, but holding 30 pounds with your right hand might not be hard.
Right.
And then eventually you can go to 35 and 40 and 45 and 50. And then you can try it again and be like, oh, I feel way better. Yeah. And now you can try to practice that and then improve. And, I think a lot of people just don't know what the starting point should be.
Yeah, and that's hard when you're going, because I was like in school, in high school and stuff, I played some sports, and then it always sounds like I lived Final Destination when I start to talk about this stuff. Like I was 16, got into a terrible car accident, so it wrecked my knees. So then I couldn't play softball anymore because I was a catcher. Like,
yeah,
I loved catching, and then I couldn't catch anymore because I couldn't squat. And then like over the years, then I kind of fell out, and then I got hurt, and then I would get better. And then when I had my neck injury, there was a couple of years where like I didn't do anything. And you're on like steroids and all this other shit. And so like I was at one point like I'll say I stopped looking at the scale at 265. I was pushing 270.
Wow, dude, damn.
Like I was a big girl at one point.
That's crazy.
And then I was just like, how do I get better? And how do I get, and so I would walk and that was great. But then I started in the pool. I started taking an aqua aerobics class.
Yeah. Hey, those are so great for people in that condition.
Yeah. And it was the way like I could start to move my body and not feel like the weight of it.
Yeah. But it was still hard to move in the water.
Yep. Yeah. And I was like the youngest person in that class by probably 25, if not 30 years. That's like a class
for old folks.
Yeah. But then like all of a sudden I'd be on land and like, I remember very clear one day I was at the doctor's office and I went to hop down off the table. And when I hopped way further than I expected. Okay. Because like I just had the strength to kind of, and I was like, oh, that's totally from being in the water and doing like box jumps in the water.
Yeah, cool.
Like I was like, oh, it's working. Like, and it was just like little moments like that I would do something and be like, oh, this is so much easier. Yeah. And then I was like, all right, well, I'll start walking more on land. So then I started doing both. Like I was diligent about walking and like all the PT stuff that I would normally do stagnant and standing in front of a mirror, I took to the streets. So I walk around, I look like a lunatic. Because I got like, I'm doing like arm presses, I'm doing like windmills, like back and front, like, like all the kind of arm exercises that you would do for PT stuff. But I do it while I'm walking. Because then I figure it's better cardio, it's better, you know what I mean? It's also challenging on my brain to have to be doing it all. Yeah. And so that's how I kind of got that weight off. Yeah. And then it's been now starting to like do Pilates and do yoga and start going to different training things just to see what else I can do and what else feels good.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's it. I don't even know how we got into that conversation, but however we got into it, that's dope. I'm glad you're finding those. I'm glad you're exploring and testing things out.
Yeah, and I think that's important.
Yeah, everybody that listens to this podcast should take that away from what we're talking about. It's just there's so many niche ways to express movement. There's something out there for everybody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Because you are a trainer, and I'm assuming that you train like regular training sessions where you're doing strength training and things like that. Mm-hmm. But you also have a huge focus on rope flow.
Yeah, rope flow, unconventional strength training methods. Okay. I think I had just had a conversation with one of my mentors. His name's Alex Stockton. He's a really, really awesome and brilliant fitness mind that I get to hang out with a couple times a week. And he was just kind of explaining to me how in our industry, right, in the fitness industry, there are like cycles of like what's popular and what's trendy and what gets forgotten about, right? And you could probably make the argument that bodybuilding right now is at its like peak from like a popularity standpoint. Because everybody, when you think fitness, you think like bodybuilders, you think like muscles, gym, like right? Like that's like what comes to mind. Because that's what's real popular on Instagram, TikTok, all that. It's just how to get jacked.
Right.
That's kind of been the trend. And kudos to everybody who loves that. I love that. That's not knocking it. But there's a trend of training modalities that's resurfacing. It's not brand new stuff. Rope flow would fall under the category of brand new. But other things that I'm into are more unconventional strength training methods that were like real popular before like colored pictures and shit like that. Like if you ever go back to like old like strength strongman like books where dudes are just like holding a heavy weight with one arm and like weird angles and stuff, like moving your body in these different more unconventional methods is really healthy and good for you to do, right? Not that it's better than bodybuilding. There's just different use cases for different strength types. Right. I guess you could say.
Well, like when I think of bodybuilders, I think of like, and I also am a little older than you, but I think of like the guys from Venice Beach that are just jacked. Yeah. And like I think it is a 24-hour fitness commercial. I lift things up and put them down.
Sure. Yeah.
You think of like the big jack guys from like that can't do anything. Like they're not.
Right. Like not all the most mobile and stuff like that. Right. And yeah, like, again, there's something out there for everybody, right? But I think that what is happening in our industry, and I got to give a big shout out to another one of my mentors that I look up to a lot. His name's David Weck. He's one of the pioneers in our industry at the moment when it comes to pushing these new ideas forward, where, you know, talking about the spinal engine and the way that we create movement moving forward through our spine, and how our body is designed almost to live and function in these like figure 8 patterns that we have access to at almost every joint in our body. We can move within these like different planes of motion, and have such capacity for fluid movement, but we don't know how to explore and develop these skill sets, right? And David Weck is one of the pioneers in pushing these ideas forward, and he's actually the person that invented the idea of rope flow as a movement practice, right? He was having a conversation with an elite boxer, and the boxer at the time was talking about all the different things he does by moving the rope from side to side, over double jumps and all that kind of stuff. And just kind of sparked an idea for David where he thought about, well, what if we take away jumping the rope and we just focus on moving the rope around us, or moving through, or around the rope. This is where he started to come up with these ideas, and he created this practice of rope flow, just because the rope allows you to access these positions, these movements. Like the rope allows you to tap into the energy that's around you at all time, and the rope guides you and you guide it simultaneously as you move through the space around. And, that led, and David's just developed a lot of other things. I do some work with landmines. I don't know if you know what that is from like a fitness standpoint. It's a barbell that is inserted into like an attachment that's connected to like a base or a anchor point. You've probably seen them. Barbells that are like on the floor, kind of like hooked to something. People move them up and down.
Oh, yep.
That's called a landmine.
Okay.
Right. But one of David Weck's previous master trainers, he was like a guy that worked for David Weck, but helped him run his business. Alex Canellis, again, he's another dude that I would consider like a mentor in my life, but he invented a system of using the landmine, but applying these ideas that he learned from David Weck with the spinal engine and coiling the core and rotating and moving, flexing the spine and generating power from one side to the other. And he invented a system for using the landmine that he's been teaching all over the place. It's catching up. Not so much here in like Northern California. There's really, I'm like one of like 4 coaches that have studied under Alex Canellis and like have the quote unquote certification to come back and teach other people the same stuff.
Right.
But like, dude, they're going crazy in Korea.
Oh.
Like in South Korea, they're going nuts with like the Weck method. David Weck, his like training ideology, he calls it Weck method, right? And Weck method is like the umbrella that like the landmine
falls under.
Okay. Because they're similar ideas, but different. But in South Korea, they're eating this shit up like crazy. Like out there, they have like 40, 50 people workshops every weekend. You know, like everybody out there is falling in love with it because of the potential, how it makes you feel. Right? Like you did rope flow the other day, and it was your first exposure to it. And when you begin to feel like it's not a challenge, when you begin to just have fun doing it, it's a totally different feeling than what you experienced yesterday. Oh, yeah. Yesterday was like an introduction. It's like, yo, what am I doing? Once you start figuring it out, you start to develop this like desire to get more, to acquire more skills. Yeah. You know, because I think rope flow is like a language, movement in general. Yeah. Every movement, every type of movement is a language in and of itself. Before you start writing essays and novels, you got to like spend time like writing letters. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And just like we raise little kids to like stay within the lines and make it look like this and not like that, you know, like you got to eventually, now you know the whole alphabet. Okay, cool. Now let's start putting words together. Right. Right. And yeah, that's dog, D-O-G, you know, like dog, like my dog, you know, you start learning how to use the word. And then once you learn how to use the word in the context you can use it in, bam, now you can put sentences together. My dog is cute, right? Like you start doing that. Same with movement. Yeah. And once you start to develop the proficiency to express yourself with movement, now you can write a whole novel. And you can paint this incredible picture in somebody, you know, physically. Right. Right. And every movement practice has that. Like I'm sure when you went to the pole dancing class, you know, they didn't have you up at the top hanging, spinning with your legs out. Right. It was like, this is how you hold the bar. Right. This is how you hold the pole. Mm-hmm. These are the different grips. You know, this is how you don't slip. Yeah. Like it's simple shit. It's the same thing with the rope. This is underhand. This is overhand, right? Like,
which is really difficult.
Weird, right? And I think it's really interesting to me that you brought up your walking while you were doing your water aerobic stuff, and how much you enjoyed the way it made your brain feel. Because this is with that. It's the same thing. You just only had one day of it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But when you start learning to put these things together, I wish there's gonna one day be somebody that does like a brain activity exam while people are doing rope flow. And it's nuts because I feel so mentally stimulated when I'm really just having fun and flowing. Like not when I'm instructing, but when I'm like actually doing it myself, by myself, just practicing. I've never experienced my brain feel so activated by movement. And I love bodybuilding and I love like working out and feeling that mind to muscle connection and all that. And that's cool. Love that. But I've never felt this before. And it only like, and I, compared to some of the people that I follow on social media, like I suck. Like I was watching this dude on the way here and I was just like, it was almost like, you know how people like, they call everything that's like fun to look at porn, like egg porn, like yolk porn or whatever. Like this was like movement porn, dude. I was looking at it and I was like, oh my God, that is so pleasing to look at. just the way he was moving, the slow, confident tempo, but he was doing some crazy complicated shit, but like super like effortlessly.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't like, because this is something that like is funny, and I you know, maybe your conversations with Karen, she's talked about it, or you kind of got a glimpse of it. Like I got to tell Karen a lot, like, hey, breathe, slow down, hey, because it's almost like a little kid that learns to on the gas and just go like, yo, there's curves on the road, chill, like you gotta like learn, and it's like that with some people where they get really excited because they're doing stuff, which is awesome, right? But as you become more skilled, you learn not to go berserk. You know, you learn to contain the energy and to really be in a very controlled flow state. And obviously there's nothing wrong with going fast and doing crazy shit.
Right.
But you can't go fast and do crazy shit for hella long.
Right.
Eventually you have to stop. But when you're able to go at a small, you know, at a slow, mellow pace, that's where you can really, and this guy was expressing so many different movements. Yeah. Like he was doing things where the rope was wrapping around his arm and spinning it while he was moving it. And you'll see like when you start following some of these pages, it's just like, whoa. But the cool thing for me is that anybody can do it. Like the only reason why you might look at me and think I'm really good at rope flow is because I've just spent the time doing it.
Right.
I've just gotten the reps in. I'm not like, it's not like basketball where like I have to be a certain height to like dunk on people. Right. It's really like just the reps and the volume, you know, and so that's the cool thing for me is like it's accessible for anyone. Super heavy people, old people. Yeah. You know, people with brain issues, like traumas, like injuries, you know, people with regular injuries. Like it's so low impact, right? But it's such potential for nonstop movement. Yeah. That is fun.
It was fun. And it was, I mean, it was challenging and like, it was weird to like the overhand was a lot easier than the underhand. And then the right hand was so much easier than the left hand.
Yeah.
And then the left hand, I could get the overhand, but I could not get the underhand, like to save my life. Just getting frustrated and then like slap myself in the face with the rope one, slap my face right in the back of the neck. Like I was just like, oh.
Yeah. It's so fun to watch my students not struggle. Like it's not fun to watch them struggle, right. But I get so much out of seeing how it challenges people. Because, like, it challenges some people, and then, like, Liz.
Yeah. She walked in, like, and just...
I think Liz was bored yesterday, to be honest with you. I think she was there, like, this is what you were talking about? Like this?
She was just, like, swinging it. Like, oh, I jumped rope as a kid. And I was like,
I was watching her.
You, I jumped rope, too.
Yeah, and so, like, it's so cool, like, to me, because, you know, when I started playing around with rope flow, it wasn't hard for me to get these like underhands and over. It was almost instinctual, right? But again, I've been athletic my whole life, right. Moving my body my whole life has been what I do. I just turned 29, so it's almost 23 years, not 26 years of me moving my body, right? So like for me, it wasn't hard to get these patterns. But I've seen people that it's like so foreign for them, right? And the other day, actually, I have a book club. Friday nights, we meet, we talk about a book related to a fitness topic. Okay. So like right now, we're reading a book on nutrition. It's called Metabolism Made Simple by Sam Miller. Okay. It's a really, really awesome book about understanding what proper, quote unquote, dietary protocol should be for somebody that's trying to eat and be healthy. You know, I don't want to dive too much into the book right now, but it's an awesome, awesome book. And that's what I have my book club reading. Okay. But I added a little bit of my own spin to the idea of a book club. We do the book club and then we exercise after. Nice. So we'll talk about the book and then we'll work out. And, you know, I was able to convince the book club to like be open to doing rope flow. So it's like book club, rope flow, right? That's what we're doing on Friday nights. And last Friday was the first time that I was able to spend time, like, you know, using the PVC pipes and then using the rope. And when I was teaching the underhand drill, I was seeing in the mirror, and my mom's part of the book club. Like she joins the book club. She comes out every night, every Friday night. We hang out, and I was curious to watch her because my mom's not like somebody. She didn't grow up playing sports, but she did a lot of figure skating.
Okay.
Like on ice. Actually, not on ice. I'm sorry. On like the rollerblading.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. She did a lot of rollerblading. Yeah. So that's what she did growing up. And you like that requires a lot of balance and athleticism, like doing that. So she's always been athletic, but not like because she played sports.
Right.
But, like she runs. You know, she's very what do you call it? Physically literate.
Okay.
That's a term I like to use to differentiate people. She's very physically literate. Some people are very illiterate physically. They don't know how to move. She's more on the other side of the spectrum. And I was watching her, and when I started doing the underhand, I was like, you know what? Let me not make people overly complicate this in their head. Let me just let them try it.
Right.
Like, just do it. Like, hey, can you do this? Let's see what happens.
Right.
And she first effort, like she like got it. It wasn't super smooth and stuff, but it like she got it. And
Right.
I looked at Leah because Leah struggled for like a day and a half doing the underhand. And we were like, what? And, you know, Leah's like, well, no wonder where you get it from. And I'm like, definitely, right? Like I'm real confident my athleticism I get from both of my parents. Both of my parents were athletes growing up. So it's so cool to see how easy it can be for some, how challenging it can be for others. But I definitely am very confident that no matter who you are as an athlete, rope flow almost opens up the interface for you to download better operating software for your supercomputer of a brain to calculate and do algorithms to figure out how you move in the space around you. You know what I'm saying? If you really break it down from like a real sciencey or technological standpoint, as a fitness professional or somebody who's passionate about the human body, like I can definitely attest through my own experience that we have this like incredible machine, this biological machine. You know what I'm saying? That encapsulates our energy. So it's awesome that we have this body. This body isn't our soul. This is my opinion, right? Obviously, I'm not trying to impose my beliefs on others, but our body is our body. Our soul is our soul. And then there's reality.
Right.
And our body is like the vessel for us to interact within the reality that we're walking around. And we run our body with a subconscious mind that basically handles all the shit that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because breathing matters, right? And pumping heart blood matters. But like, you're not sitting here thinking, let me contract my heart real quick while I'm having this conversation, right? So all of that important shit goes on in the background with our subconscious mind. And our conscious mind obviously is what moves the body.
Right.
You know, it's like playing video game, like Grand Theft Auto, like you're moving the human body with your little controls. That's what we do with our body. And because some people grow up or live without ever learning to navigate the mind and body coordination, when they grow old or grow up, they just don't have that. And it's hard for people to learn that. Some people are just like committed to having two left feet their whole life. It's just who I am.
Right.
And it's like, sure, like maybe, but rope flow allows you to download the software that you never did, that you never had access to. And it might take some time, but if you practice and are consistent with giving it an honest effort, you will move better. You will integrate your top and your bottom, your left and your right arm and your left arm and your left foot start to move as one. And it's not weird to coordinate that movement anymore. It's just natural, right? And you will learn to rotate and move. And not only that, but you'll download rhythm, right? Like people are like, I have no rhythm. And it's like, right, well, there's a beat with the rope.
Right.
And if you don't keep up with the beat, certain movements are not going to work. Like, and once you start to understand that, you start to like rep out so much volume that you learn how to be on beat.
Right.
Through just moving the rope around, you know, and then obviously you start coordinating it and moving it around your body. And again, I would love to see like a test on brain activity with the rope, because I would be excited to look at how, like, what's going on, because it's nuts, right?
Right. Yeah, and I didn't think about the fact that when you said earlier, like it gets you into the energy around you. And it does, like when I had the figure 8 going in front of me and I was like, all right, I got this. Because I have rhythm, but sometimes my coordination is terrible because I can't, like you said, I can't get my left and my right to go together. And that's where I get frustrated because I'm like, I can move. I know I have rhythm. I know it's here. But like then to execute it, it's like, why are you not moving the way I want you to?
Right. Yeah. And what rope flow does is it just places you in a state where you can practice and get the volume to learn those skills.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. Like everything about like, you know, there's people that do rope flow with insane skills and talents and shout out to them. Right. But for me, I guess from a practical standpoint, I view rope flow as an opportunity to add something to my business that allows me to work with people that maybe aren't ready to work in the gym.
Right.
There might be people that are so intimidated by weightlifting that I might never ever get a chance to connect with them, but I could show them how to move a rope around their body.
Right.
And once they feel confident there, I could be like, hey, what if you just got a little stronger?
Right.
You know, and bam, that's the bridge to bring them into a higher level of service within my business where I can help them even deeper.
Right.
You know, so for me, that it excites the hell out of me because the way that it helps people just download the better operating software, I just don't know anything that is out there that does that for human beings. You know, like, yeah, people get more athletic by working out. Not everybody can do that all the time.
Right.
Right. This is a way for people to become more athletic just from a movement standpoint, how you move forward and how you move back.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a different way to train your body to move through those motions, which transfers into their everyday life.
Mm-hmm. And this is kind of where we go back to the conversation where I was telling you about like the cycles in fitness. I am very confident that what we're doing in the rope flow space is going to be something that humans do as a norm for athletic just development
Right.
in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that because I'm going to do as much as I can to pioneer that as many places as I can.
Right.
Whether it's elementary schools or senior citizen homes, right? Like there's no way that anybody could ever look at me and tell me that it wouldn't be good for them to do that.
Right. Yeah, because it's a full body workout. Like when we did just I did like an intro class yesterday morning and like I left and my obliques were like, ooh, my shoulders were like, oh, you did some stuff today.
Right. How'd you feel today?
Oh, I feel good. I always have to kind of be careful because it's raining today.
Sure.
And so this weather, one of the reasons I live in California is because I couldn't do the cold on the East Coast anymore. I deal with chronic pain, so I'm in pain all the time. It's like where my threshold is. Am I at a 4 or am I at an 8? So on weather like this, I'm always a little extra sore. But my body from the workout is like good. I mean, I feel it in my shoulders a little, like they're a little.
Like you use them, but you're not wrecked.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
wrecked.
you could show up to class tomorrow and try it again.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And that's awesome.
And we were doing some like squat lunges to move forward, or I started to because I was watching Karen do it, and I was like, wait, I can probably do that part. And it, I can feel it in my ass a bit, but like in a good way, and not in a like I can't even squat to pee kind of way.
Sure. Yeah. That's awesome.
Which has happened in
happens all the time with people. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that feeling, but I hate it because then I feel like I can't go back the next day.
Well, some people, myself included, would make the argument that if you're training that hard, you're overdoing it.
Right.
Like you don't need to walk around wrecked.
Right.
As a like recreational athlete.
Right. Yeah. No,
like,
it shouldn't.
Like
be.
if you're a professional bodybuilder and you're training for the biggest competition of your life, maybe you are going to be a little sore after your workouts,
right.
Like to the point where you might like have a hard time walking upstairs and shit.
Yeah.
But even those bodybuilders will tell you like they don't like getting that sore,
right? And it's
because
only
it holds you back from training the next day.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Recovery is everything, and again we go back to like the idea of the right dosage is all you need, and that's one of the problems with our industry. And I don't see it so much as like a problem that won't be fixed. It's just, I think, the natural order of the trajectory of fitness. We've been very ignorant for a long time. Yeah. Like if you think about it, we had no need to exercise before 1950.
Right.
Like what? And you hear this all the time. Like going on a jog was like the weirdest thing in the 1970s. You know, it was like people were like, dude, what are you, like a jog? Like, it was like, well, yeah, I'm getting fat. Like, well, yeah, you know, like once they introduced television and processed foods and the automobile, it was like, I no longer have to walk anywhere. I now can sit on my ass for hours and watch this cool programming that I've never freaking seen before.
Right.
And there's this like super tasty McDonald's that I can drive to and bring home dinner.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I don't even have to get out of my car to get it.
exactly. Right.
Yeah.
They'll bring it to my window. And now it's like, well, no wonder you put on 30 pounds out of nowhere. Right. And then it's like, oh, we got to go jogging. And then it like the fitness industry has slowly developed, but we've been very ignorant.
Right.
Only now do we have science that kind of allows us to see the reality of what we should be doing versus what's a waste of effort.
Right.
You know, like if you look back on bodybuilders over the last 30 years versus bodybuilders now, training styles have changed a lot. And some people will say for the better, some people will argue for the worse. But for the most part, for the general population athlete, there's no need for you to train like a freaking NFL player.
Right.
Like, why? Why are you wrecking yourself? You have a life to live after the gym.
Right, yeah.
You have to go work. Who the hell's going to want to? I mean, I would not want to be in a setting where I'm not at the gym, sore throughout the whole day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. No, it sucks like to go to work and to be like, oh, I don't want to walk across the office because my legs are too sore. Like,
Exactly.
that then defeats the whole purpose because then you fall off and you're like, I don't want to be that
Sustainability is such an important factor in any exercise program. Like, are you going to be able to do this in 3 years?
Right.
Or are you just going to hate it after 5 weeks? And most people, unfortunately, still do the least optimal way. You know, I don't want to knock that per se, but it would be cool for you to be able to work out for 5 years straight with no interruptions. And that's where you get the insane lifestyle transformation. Right? People don't do that.
No.
And I bet you if you were looking or hiring for, you know, looking around shopping for a personal trainer, the idea of hiring that trainer and being active and exercising for the next 10 years is probably the outcome you're looking for versus like the trainer telling you like, yeah, you're going to work out for like 6 months and then go back to not doing shit.
Right.
Right. Like if you had the choice to pick one or the other, what would you choose? Yeah, I want to work out for the rest of my life. That's why I'm hiring you. Right. But not everybody gets that start.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've had some terrible trainers, like going back to the gym, you know, on and off for over the years and dealing with injuries and stuff, where it's like your trainer can make a huge difference. Yeah. Like I had a trainer that I hated. That and sucks. I went as often as I could, but I was just like, I would then dread going. Yeah. Because they were mean. And it was like, I'm here to get better, not to hear like that I'm a piece of shit. Like, and then I've had trainers that were great that I'm like, oh, I want to go work out more. And for whatever reason, like it falls off or I can't afford it or whatever. And now then I got to the point where I hated the gym. Yeah. Like I used to get so anxious walking in there because it felt like such a judgment place. Sure. And it feels like if I don't know what I'm doing and then it's this and then it's uncomfortable. But places like, you know, going with you or going with the places that you kind of feel aligned with, then it's like joyous. Like being at the gym yesterday morning was fun, you know? Hey, I like and then to watch Karen, you know, start doing something
saw her at the end. You were like recording her at the end. I was really happy to see you because again, I was kind of concerned about the neck. I was like, oh man, I hope I didn't like make her not want to keep coming because I like made her worry about her neck because I totally would have understood. Yeah. Like I would have been like, fuck, I should have asked if you had any injuries beforehand. Right?
Well, I also should have probably said something, but a lot of times I don't.
I think I dropped the ball on a professional level there. I should have been like, hey, do you have any injuries before I work out with you? But it was really cool to see you enjoying Karen like moving. Like that, like the joy that she expresses. And dude, she was in your shoes. Right. Day one. No different. She was the same, like, oh, I got this overhand. Cool. And the underhand was like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure she'll let me put that up on social and we'll tag you.
Hell yeah. That would be awesome. I would share that out for sure.
Yeah, because it was awesome. And in that, you're telling her, you're like, okay, calm down, breathe, like, relax, like, don't get too excited.
Exactly. Yeah, like, stay in the flow. Yeah. Don't, you know.
Because you could see her, like, getting kind of into it and then, like, wanting to speed up. And you're like, no, just keep going with it. Like,
yeah, because you crash and burn. Yeah. You know, you crash and burn. And we, you know, We don't want to do that.
No, but it was so much fun, and it is like just a different kind of workout.
Yeah, it's so like anybody who's hearing this and is like, yo, what the hell is rope flow? Look it up. It's very, very new.
I didn't realize it was new because I think it feels in some ways instinctive,
Sure.
like with the rhythm of it and the energy of it and the flow of it. I just assumed it was like an old
martial art or something like that. Yeah. And here's the cool thing about it. This is I'm gonna go on like a sort of personal deep dive into my own spirituality, right? But for anybody listening to this, these are my thoughts and opinions. Like I'm not trying to tell you how to think.
You're not starting a cult.
No, hell no.
The rope flow cult.
Right? No, not at all. I really do feel more confident than ever that we're going through a global consciousness awakening as humanity. Right? We are starting to see beyond the facade of life as we've known it, and it's a beautiful time, but it's also a scary time because there's probably going to be more bad before the good as the infrastructure of our current reality shatters. Yeah, and we realize that we are more powerful than we could have ever even dreamed of, right? Like we don't need to live the way we're living, and we're going to have the opportunity to embrace living a different way. While at the same time, some people are going to go the other route, right? But I don't think there's going to be like this end of the world type setting where I think it's just going to be a shift in like dimension for some and maybe a real ugly reality for others, right? I think that rope flow came at the right time to help guide or help assist our transition into this different reality of a health-oriented, happy life as a human, right? And I think that rope flow, like you said, it seems like it's just so natural, right? Because the beauty in the rope is that it just allows you to harness or tap into the energy that's around you at all time, right? Because here's the crazy thing. I was talking to my girlfriend about it last night. Like if you take away my vision, right, and I'm now in the dark, that doesn't take away the fact that I could still interact with your energy,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like I'll hear your voice and I'll still know that you're there. And if I touch you, I'll know that you're there. And if I smell you, I know that you're there, right? I definitely don't want to say if I taste you, right? But like you get the idea. My senses allow me to experience energy that my eyes can no longer perceive.
Right.
And if I were to lose my hearing but still have my vision, you get the idea, right? If you take away our senses and we can no longer talk, smell, breathe, or we can still breathe, but you get what I'm saying? Yeah. We still exist. Our consciousness is still there, right? So in essence, we're kind of like these beings of energy walking around in the dark.
Yeah.
Right? And this darkness it's an empty space, but we still vibrate. We still radiate. The energy that we put out is still there. And that's what pulls us certain places. And that's what repels us from certain places is the frequency that we're vibrating at. With the crystal shop and Reiki and all these conversations around energy, like this is how I've learned to think about this stuff, right? It all kind of ties in together. And the rope is like a tool that allows you to just hop into that energy field and learn what's available to you in the space around you that you never thought was accessible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it couldn't have came at a better time because now there's no reason that anybody should ever have to be an ultra-sedentary individual. Because Karen does this all the time. Put on freaking Netflix and just underhand swing while you're doing Netflix.
Yeah.
Just underhand swing while you're watching Netflix. There's no reason why you have to be on the couch, miserable, because you want to work out, but you're scared of going to the gym. Like, grab a rope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, I feel like I've connected really deeply with David Weck and his mission of helping humankind move stronger with every step, right? Like that's because he's somebody you should hopefully follow if you find his content interesting, and maybe even one day get him on a podcast. He's an incredible person to talk to.
Yeah.
And his views on the world that we live in and the control that we fall under It's like, you know, until we become autonomous, self-sufficient, strong human beings, it's always going to be easy to control us and to treat us like cattle, because we just kind of go with the flow, follow the crowd. We don't think for ourselves, right? And so exercise for me personally, right, is that vessel for independence and bodily autonomy. And like, you don't depend on anyone because you can do anything from a movement standpoint that you want to, right? And I got in, one of the reasons why I got into fitness too, when I was working out with my cousin, it was a joke, but it's real shit. Like zombie apocalypse training. Yeah. like think about it. Whoever's listening to this right now, doesn't matter how fit you've been, doesn't matter how fit you plan on being right now, today, if there's a zombie apocalypse outside, are you running away from zombies or are you going to get ate? And if you need to climb a fence, are you climbing that fence or are you now zombie food? Right. If you have to hang and pull yourself up on a ledge, are you doing that or are you zombie food? Right. You know what I'm saying? Most of us would probably be like, yeah, I might be zombie food, right? And if that's the answer that you have, why not not put yourself at risk for becoming zombie food, right? Like
at least give yourself a chance to outrun the guy next door.
Give yourself a chance to run into the store and survive. Maybe who knows?
Outrun the guy next door.
I watched way too many zombie movies growing up, dude. But that was like a joke that was like for real. It was like monkey bars when you're a little kid are like so fun. Why do we lose that ability as grown-ups?
Right. Yeah, why do we stop playing as grown-ups? Like, right. As a kid, you're like always at the park, you're always running, you're always doing something. And then as adults, we just get more and more sedentary.
Well, dude, I forgot who it was. I don't know if, and I'm so okay with being wrong. So whoever's like super anal on the internet, like, hey, I might be wrong. But I think it was John D. Rockefeller, like back in like the beginning of like, what do you call it? Assembly lines and factory workers and shit like that, where he poured heavily into the education system, like funding, like investing into our education system so he could have the influence of being like, hey, let's do it like this. Let's create good little assembly line workers.
Well, that's what the American education system is based on.
Well, that's exactly what it is, you know. And I bring that up to touch on your point. Like, why do we lose this? Why? Well, because when we're 6 years old, we get sent somewhere where they remove our humanity and instill a programming into our nature that has us living the way we're currently living right now. You know, and education has only gotten worse. Yeah. And education has only gotten more confusing. And education has only put people in a worse place to live the life that we're supposed to live. Dude, at the end of the day, this is nature. It's kill or be killed. It's hunt or starve, right? And we are so soft and weak as humans. Again, most 80% of the population, 45 to 50% of the population right now is walking around like zombie food. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And depressed. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And who knows how many people choose to not own a mirror in their home because they don't want to look at themselves in the mirror because they don't like what they see. I was wild out when I found out people don't have mirrors in their house. I have a friend and she was telling me about her therapy session and she was like, well, my therapist was like, do you have any mirrors? And I was like, no. And I was like, wait, you don't have a mirror in your house? And she was like, no. And I was like, not one? And she was like, well, the one in the bathroom, but that's just because I can't get rid of it. And that's the only mirror in her house. Yeah. And she's a person that she's been dealing with depression for years. And I've always been like, just start moving, come walk with me. And because for me, that was a way out of my depression, was moving my body. And the stronger I've gotten in my body, the stronger I've gotten in my mind, and then my confidence, and then in moving into the world. Yeah. And it's like such a huge connection that I think we lose. Yeah. It gets stolen from us, really. Like, it's not like nobody, if they had the choice, would just want to be 600 pounds. No. Nobody would do that. No. But people are born into realities that don't ever teach them how to preserve their humanity. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's like it's almost like the battle that I'm fighting as a trainer. You know, it's like, you know, folks like David Weck and, you know, individuals in the fitness industry that have been in the industry for the last 20 to 30 years are leading from the front. You know, these are the generals that I'm following and we're fighting a battle to preserve humanity. I really feel confidently that fitness professionals, and I don't even want to use the term fitness professionals because I feel like it gets like a bad connotation. Health and wellness professionals,
Right.
Because it's so many practices that don't involve strength training, right? Like just because you are a yogi doesn't make you any less of a health and wellness professional than the bodybuilding coach,
Right.
Right? It's just the whole umbrella. But we are almost like that last stand against what the powers that be are trying to force on us.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the reality that you see in like the Matrix, like they're trying to do that right now. If you don't want to admit it or not, that's not my problem. But like wealthy ass people are trying to figure out how to make babies in tubes, in pods, so that you don't ever have to have a baby as a human. And then you're just going to like be a slave. That's where they're trying to take us.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Someone was just talking, I was listening to a podcast yesterday and they were talking about how Elon's building a town and like then you'll be able to live in his town and work for him, but it'll be cheap labor.
It's freaking
but it's not.
Indentured servitude all over again, dude.
And people are like excited about it. I'm like, how are you excited about living on like a people farm? Like that's what you're going to be. You're going to have like it's like a prison that you work at and you get some extra freedoms for. Like what?
Yeah.
Like, it's the craziest thing to me.
Right.
But some people just want to sit on their computer and live their life through that than rather than live it in the real world.
Sure. And that's why I say what I'm saying, where, you know, there's going to be two realities occurring at the same time. And this is a conversation that goes deeper than fitness. It's like, we're talking like shifts in dimension. And multiple realities. I'm listening to a dude, Billy Carson. I don't know if you've heard of him on Instagram or YouTube. He's an incredible mind. I think he runs a page on Instagram called Forbidden Knowledge.
Okay.
Billy Carson, he's got a lot of cool content on YouTube, a lot of dope podcasts that he's on. But he's talking about like how thanks to quantum physics, right, we can scientifically make the argument that there are multiple dimensions stacked on top of each other, interacting with each other. And, you know, if you look at like an atom, 99.9999999% of the atom is empty space.
Right.
There's that small amount that is here present in this frequency of dimension. Mm-hmm. But there's another part of that atom that's present in another dimension.
Yeah.
You know, and this is where I personally believe that we are entering an age where there's going to be a shift in human consciousness. And some folks are going to want to go the human route, and some folks are going to want to go the matrix route.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen. Hopefully, people are able to realize what side they're choosing before they choose the side that they don't want to be on.
Right.
And, you know, for any fitness professional that's listening, you know, shout out to you. I feel like we're like that last stand, and we're only growing in numbers. Right? Like I've been a trainer for 8 years. There's been countless trainers that have started in this industry since then. You know what I'm saying? And I'm nowhere near the best trainer in the world, but I'm definitely super excited to find people down the road that want to learn from me and want to train others with the information that I share with them.
Right.
You know, and I feel like any coach that is really committed, how do I phrase this? Any coach that's actually able to earn a living as a professional in the fitness industry, right, sees their development as a coach being that of like a educator of other coaches.
Right.
There's only but so much fun that you can have training people. Eventually, you get really good at it, and it's like, what's next? Like, I can take anybody and get them any result. You lose that. There's no journey anymore.
Right.
Right. And the journey then becomes, well, how many people can I teach to go out and impact others? Right. And that's where the wave spreads, you know, where I teach one person, that person teaches 20.
Right.
And out of those 20 inspires one to teach another 150 and 2,000. And you know, and it spreads like that. And I feel like that's where I see our future, as far as from my perspective as a fitness professional, that's where I see my future being, is in just introducing as many people as I can to rope flow.
Right.
And through that, introducing them to strength training. And through that, showing them the fun that they can have with the landmine. And the whole time they're doing that, let's make sure your diet's right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then 5 years after you start working with me, you're a totally independent, confident, happy, healthy, autonomous human being. You know, like I just recently had one of the coolest little experiences with one of my athletes. I train a lot of women.
Okay.
Right. I train a lot of women, and one of my athletes got pregnant, but it's not what you would think. Right. I had nothing to do with that. I just try to phrase it that way, just to like make a joke out of it. But like one of my athletes, through working with me.
Whoopsie. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. No, she, most women tend to undereat chronically when they come in to work with me.
Okay.
Like it's a pattern with women that I see. I have not yet started to work with people that are like way overeating. Because I've been meeting a lot of my clientele from the group fitness job that I used to work at.
Okay.
So all the people that I already met were already trying to work out, trying to get healthy. So they were already changing their diet up and doing what they thought was right.
Right.
So all of them, every time it was always like, yo, you're not eating enough. Like you're not like starving yourself because clearly you're alive and you're here, but you're like eating way too little and maybe like binging. And that's probably why you're not seeing results. Is like you starve yourself for a significant amount of time and then you like binge and then there's no like deficit that's actually attained and you kind of store more, right? And it's a bad cycle. Anyways,
it's like intermittent fasting the wrong way.
Yeah, the wrong way, exactly. And this athlete that I work with, she wasn't like overweight looking to lose weight. She was actually like a thinner woman looking to put on some muscle.
Okay.
So first thing it was like, hey, we got to eat more. Like we got to like get your caloric intake up from like 1,500, which you thought was normal, to like, no, above 2,000, maybe above 2,200, right? You as a woman, does 2,200 calories seem like something you want to do tomorrow?
No.
At all, right?
Nope.
Exactly. But what if right now I'm telling you that you have not yet experienced a higher quality of life than that of somebody who's actually given their body the nutrients and energy that it needs to do what it does?
It would make sense.
Right. And so this is what I deal with a lot of women, right? It's like, oh my God, I hate my period. I hate when I'm on my period. It's just the worst week ever. And as a man, I have no choice but to like empathize and be like, whoa, that sucks. You know, like I respect it, right? But I've worked with enough women where it's like the moment we adjust their intake and they begin to eat more fats and all of a sudden their body has the right building blocks to create the hormones to run the process of shedding the walls of your uterus and bringing another egg into your uterus for fertilization, right? Because that whole process is a chemical reaction that is guided by hormones.
Right.
If you're not consuming enough fat, you can't build those hormones. And if you don't consume enough energy, well, your menstrual cycle costs calories.
Right.
Whether you are aware of it or not, it costs a certain amount of calories. If you don't give them, if you don't pay those calories, you're going to feel it. Your body's going to be like, yo, hey, oops, my bad. I didn't want to mess that up. But you know what I'm saying? Like your body's going to be like, hey, person, feed me. Like I need more energy. Right. And it tells you that via pain, discomfort, misery, and like the worst week ever.
Right.
When I've had clients where we adjust their diet, they just eat a little bit more food, a lot more fats. And they'll like, I'm at like 15 plus people that have told me like, yo, I didn't even like realize my period was coming until it just like, whoa.
Oh, wow.
And like my periods are like no problem now. Like it's just a little bit of an issue. Like I'm just bleeding.
Right.
And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. Like I don't know the science behind it, but I'm only going to say like, I would like to think that your body contracts like crazy because it's having a hard time shedding those walls.
Right. It doesn't have the energy to do the work that it needs to.
Or it might not have the hormones for the walls to just shed.
Right.
And so now it has to contract and like really like get that shit out. I don't know. I'm not a woman. Right. I haven't experienced having menstrual cycles, but my female athletes, it's like within a month, the moment we change their diet up and eat more fats, it's the same way I started eating more fats and lifting differently and I grew a beard. Like it was like, oh shit, testosterone goes up when you have hormones to build testosterone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like my athlete, the one who I'm talking about that got pregnant, she went from eating like 1,500 calories in strength training to like 2,300. She was close to 2,400 calories. She was killing it. Like she was, she was happy. She was growing a butt, like all these different things. Yeah. And then one day she came to me for training, like during training, she was like, so I have some news. And I looked at her and I was like, oh, what happened? She was like, it's not bad. So like, but I'm pregnant. And I was like, what? like, damn, dude, that's gonna like interrupt our flow. We're killing it. Like we're on a roll right now. Congratulations.
Right.
Like what? Like that's so cool. And it just through thinking about the situation and talking to one of my mentors about it and just thinking, I was like, oh, maybe like, because she said she wasn't practicing birth control with her husband and she wasn't like trying to get pregnant. They were just at a point where they were kind of like, oh, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
Like, it's just not happening. Cool. And then I'm like, well, now that you actually have the caloric fuel to support life, your body is ready to be like, yeah, let's fertilize this baby.
Right.
Let's do it. I can handle it from an energy standpoint. Right. And it's like, shoot, there might be like a human pregnancy or there might be a reproductive specialist listening to this one day who's like, Camilo, that's not how it works.
Right.
And if that's the case, okay, educate me.
But also it to me as a woman who's dealt with a lot of that stuff, it does make sense because her body was then in a more homeostasis state all along.
Balanced. Yeah.
So once your body's balanced, because when you're trying to get pregnant, a lot of times they'll tell you like, you got to get healthy, you got to keep your hormones, you got to, or, you know, they'll give you hormones to do all that.
It's nature
stuff.
at its finest. How are you going to carry a baby for 9 months if you can't even survive in nature on your own?
Right.
Like it's just nature.
Yeah.
Right?
If her body's healthier and in a more balanced state, then it's at a better state to.
Yeah, because your body has to calculate, I got to keep this thing alive for 9 months.
Yeah.
And then I got to make sure it doesn't die.
Right.
And if your body's like, yo, I don't eat, like, why would it do that? Why
your
would
body's like, I can barely keep you alive for the next 2 months. Never mind this other thing alive for 9.
Exactly. Because your body's always living in that stress state of, I got 3 months of this. If it gets worse, I'm dead.
Yeah.
That's, we got like 20, you could get through like 28 days without eating.
Mm-hmm. You shouldn't.
You shouldn't, right? I'm over here saying 3 months. No, you got like a month and some change.
Yeah.
Where if all you do is drink water, you can get by, but you're going to die soon.
Yeah.
Your body knows that.
Yeah.
Your body's trying to protect you from that. And if you're not giving your body enough to think that it's not a month away from dying from starvation, why would it ever want to create a life?
Right.
Right. And so that was such a cool moment for me because I was like, yo, I played a role in some baby being born. Like, that's lit.
Yeah,
like what? You got to name that baby Camilo. Like, but jokingly, but yeah, it's like.
Has she continued to work out during her pregnancy?
She has been, she has been, but again, they weren't
just altering it.
They weren't like planning on having a baby. So there's like financial and like implications of what they're going through right now. And so we've eased off of her paying me for training right now. We're going to see each other like weekly or bi-weekly just to make sure that she's staying on top of what she could be doing right now. But right now, all she has to do is stay healthy and keep like, doing her little Peloton workouts, some strength training. She doesn't have to like grow any muscle right now.
Right.
She just has to stay healthy and active. Right.
Yeah.
And so we've scaled back a little bit on it, but she's still like, at least now in a place where eating 2,400 calories isn't like foreign for her.
Right.
And she doesn't have to force herself to eat. She has the fuel to eat. And, I'm excited to see how her pregnancy goes. But the reason why I brought her up was like the impact that I think that us as coaches or trainers have the potential to make in the world we're moving into.
Right. Well, because I think I think a lot of people think trainers are just like to get you in physical care. But if you have a good trainer, a good coach, it's like having a little therapist too, because you guys are bouncing off things, or if you come into the gym stressed out, you have someone to like just kind of like check in with for your day and be like, I don't want to do this, but I'm here because like I don't want you to think I'm a fucking slacker, whatever, you know what I mean? Like it's that accountability that it gives you, and the encouragement, because you guys are like cheerleaders. Now you have a cheerleader who's on your health path and who just wants the best. And I think sometimes when we talk about fitness and training, everyone gets so into the aesthetics of it. Like I'm trying to look this way, but it's like no, it's going back to the zombie training. Like, great, you'll look better, but you'll actually feel better, you'll move better, you'll be better to deal with your life, because the stresses of life don't seem as bad when you have gone through something really hard that day. Yeah,
exactly. Like if the hardest part of your day is your workout, you're going to have a great day. You know what I'm saying? And like, if you have a hard ass workout, there's not a lot of things other than like a real close family relative dying unexpectedly, or like a bad car accident, or like, I don't know, a freaking economic meltdown. Globally, that could be like worse days than like a tough ass workout. You know what I'm saying? Like
it gives you that confidence to know like shit might be hard, but I'll get through it. Cause like I got through that set this morning or that second set that I thought I was going to die in, or, you know,
you
like,
literally just encapsulated what my brand is about.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got through that hard ass set. You did that. You know what I'm saying? Now go through a hard ass day.
Yeah.
Do that. Because at the end of the day, like success doesn't come from luck. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, like luck, to me, luck is when preparation meets opportunity, right? So I believe in making my own luck, but you don't just fall into luck.
Right.
You know, eventually you might get lucky and get an opportunity that you didn't really work for. But more often than not, even being able to recognize that opportunity, you have to be prepared to see it, right? So luck doesn't just happen without a backstory, right? But, you know, I don't even know where I was going with that. We were
That happens.
Yeah, I was like, I had a good point to drive into it, but
Conquering your inner bitch.
conquering your inner bitch, yeah,
Good.
exactly. Like winning mind state for me is, yo, go out there and learn how to give 5 years to a mission. Your body,
Yeah.
cool. You did that. Now go out and go 10 years into your passion. You know, Gary Vaynerchuk. You know who Gary V is?
Oh yes, I know that name.
Gary Vaynerchuk, that's his last name.
Yeah.
Gary V is his like nickname.
I know that name.
He's a dope entrepreneur. He's like a big influencer in the entrepreneurial space right now. Big, like one of the big players in that whole realm. Like, you know, like him and like Grant Cardone, you know, Tony Robbins and those people. But Gary Vaynerchuk has a book called Crush It.
Yes.
Have you read it?
I haven't. It's in my list.
Please read it.
It's in my list.
You're doing this podcast. Read that book or listen to the audiobook.
Yeah, I love an audiobook.
Yeah, Rope Flow audiobook. Done. You know what I'm saying? Just listen to the read that book or listen to it. But in that book, he was just talking about, you know, monetizing your passion and using the power of the internet to like, you know, have no excuse to not love what you do for a living, right? But he also talked about how, you know, if you expect to get to the point where you're like living off of your passion and not having to answer to a boss and like being happy with where you're at, like you should at least go into whatever pursuit you have knowing you got to give up a decade or you got to sacrifice a decade at least before you even have the audacity to question whether it worked out or not.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. People get into something and they'll be balls to wall for 6 months or even a year. And then it's like, all right, well, nothing's happening. So I better move on. It's like, well, did you really give it your balls to the wall for a year? Did you really like? Or
and even
how do you give something just a year?
Even if they're going balls to the wall for a year and nothing seems to be happening, what they don't realize if they quit is that what's happening is the skill acquisition.
Right.
Like you're learning what it takes to do what you want to do.
Right.
And it might have taken you a year of nothing to build the skill that gets you something in year 2.
Right.
And you collect skills throughout your experience as a individual pursuing your highest self, and eventually you have enough skills developed that you can build the infrastructure of a successful business, right? Or pursuit, whatever it is that you're doing. But you know, this conversation I'm talking about revolves around like the life success side of the equation.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what fitness is the gateway to.
Yeah.
It's like, some people are unhappy and don't really feel like they're living what they would define as successful. Sometimes it's because you're a fucking weenie and you don't know how to push through the rejections and the hopelessness of nobody showing up to your event.
Yeah.
But one person, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And some people are just fucking soft and they don't know what it's like to endure that pain. Those same people should exercise and learn to endure some pain and then go back to that pursuit and they'll have some tougher skin to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I aspire to do with the business that I'm building, is to help as many people as I can develop that inner confidence to do whatever they want with that confidence.
Right.
You know, whether it's stepping on stage as a bodybuilder or just having more energy to like be a better dad. Whatever that goal is, you know, I want to be able to help people discover that they can be so much more in life with investing in themselves.
Yeah. And to know that it's going to be a struggle at times, but it's okay to struggle.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's one of the things that a gym teaches you too, is like, all right, yeah, you might not get it. It might take you 3 weeks to get this underhand thing, but once you get it, you have it.
Yeah.
And then you won't lose it.
Yeah, it's life, dude. It's like fitness is such an arena for life. Like you're not just training your body, you're training your mind, you're training your spirit.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you are in a hard set, like when you're, let's easy exercise, let's say some squats, and your fucking legs are on fire, your heart's pumping, you're like out of breath, but you still have 3 more reps and you're struggling on that. Getting up is hard.
Right.
You're not just getting up with your mind, because your mind has to connect to your body, right? So just because you think up doesn't mean up happens. You have to connect the muscles and the central nervous system with this. Like the central nervous system connects with the muscles to move the skeleton. Right. That's the science behind it, right? And the central nervous system is a lot of energy. It's the brain. The brain's sending energy. Well, where do we get that energy? From the soul. You know what I'm saying? Like the spirit is what connects the body and the mind to essentially execute on that survival, life or death situation. It's exercise at the end of the day. The reason why we do that is because our life no longer requires us to run away from shit and attack and kill shit that's trying to hurt us. Like our life is easy as fuck. We're no longer picking up boulders trying to find insects to eat. We're no longer fighting off animals. We're not running away from shit. We're just hanging out on the couch and eating all the food we want. Our life is easy, right? The moment you start making things just a little bit more difficult, now we start to get back to our true nature, right? And that's where we draw the power to attack life in a different way, you know? And it's what I'm passionate about. Like I just love helping people discover that.
That's amazing. And it's a gift like that you have that you're giving back to the world. So we appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I talked to Karen about it and she's like, yeah, it's almost like it's the biggest like crime you could commit is not following that intuition and not giving that gift to the world. Yeah. You know, and I'm super excited that, you know, everything I was talking about as far as like pouring that decade into your life, like I'm on year 8 right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even feel like I have anything accomplished yet. Cause I'm waiting to like be able to say 10 years in, what did I do? You know, like I'm not even there yet. Right. Right. But at 8 years in, and I'm not even at 8, my 8 years would start at would be the end of my 8th year would be in April. Okay. So I'm right there. Yeah. Like a month away. Literally on the 16th of April, I quit my job at that 24-hour fitness. And I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna be a trainer. All right. See how it goes. Yep. Right. I didn't get that. Oh. All right, Siri. Sorry. And close to 8 years in, I'm so happy with that decision. And I know the exciting thing for me is like, I'm so okay with it taking me another 20 years to get to where I think I want to go. Like I have no problem giving it another decade. Right. You know, I don't want to do fitness as my only thing for the rest of my life. Like I'd like to create several streams of income, have a little bit of, you know, real estate going on over here and other businesses that allow me to have fun doing other shit. Right. Because give you the financial freedom. Yeah. Like right now I'm still trying to figure out how to be a great trainer. Right. Like I'm still trying to be the best trainer I could possibly be. I'll get there one day. Right. And when I get there one day, I'll probably want to find something that I suck at to try to get really good at that too. Spend another decade doing that. Right. But for now, I'm on the cusp of being able to say, okay, 10 years in, what did I do? And, you know, for anybody listening, it's just, that's what it requires. That's what it requires. There's no running away from that. And the sooner you can embrace that, you know, the sooner you can start running your marathon, you know, because that's what life is at the end of the day. It's not a sprint. It's always a marathon. Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I think being honest about like embracing the hard parts and embracing like there's work involved. Like there's no way to get around it. Like Brene Brown says, like you got to embrace the suck sometimes. Yeah. Embrace the fucking suck for sure. Like I love that. It does suck sometimes. Yeah. But like if you get through that, then it's even more rewarding because you're like, fuck, it was hard and I still did it. Yeah. I'll give you an example real close, real recent yesterday, as a matter of fact. Like I teach my landmine classes at night, Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. I've been teaching my landmine class for maybe a month and a half. So I've had for the last month and a half, yesterday was the first time, but before yesterday, my classes were like always one or two people.
Okay.
Right. One or two people. And it's always different people. Like there's some people that come in and repeat and people that come in and check it out. And, you know, I'm not going to lie and not say that it isn't demoralizing and discouraging. You know, like I'm over here pumping it on Instagram and nobody's showing up. And I'm human and it hurts my ego.
Yeah.
It, you know, takes a shot at my pride. And I'm like, damn, like, okay, well, let's start class. Like, I wish there was more people here, but I've only just started.
Right.
So I'm not going to cry about it. I'm just going to give these two people my absolute best so that they feel like they want to bring a friend. You know, that's all I want to do. Just give them a great class. Yesterday, I had 6 people in class.
Nice.
Right. And the energy in class yesterday was, it was almost like I was experiencing what was happening and I was like, dude, it's happening. Like I don't know if I'll have the same 6 people in class tomorrow.
Right.
I'm not expecting that. What I'm expecting is whoever shows up is going to leave feeling like they got the most out of that hour and they learned and had a fucking blast. And eventually, soon, maybe not, who knows? I'm going to have to tell people I don't have room for you in this 12-person class. I have 12 people signed up already. And when that happens, I'll open up another slot. Right. But that's happening. It's like the only thing that's holding me back from that is the space in between the time from now until that reality that I'm going to experience in the future. Yeah. Right. And I'm just going to keep working at it diligently. But yesterday I was thinking, like, what if I said, you know what, fuck this landmine thing. I'm just going to go rope flow. Right. Right. Well, then I wouldn't have experienced yesterday. Right.
And those 6 people wouldn't have had that class.
Exactly. And there's a meme that I saw when I was like 17, 18 that really struck to me one time. It was these 2 people. They're like digging through the dirt. I don't know if you've seen it, but they're like digging in this direction. And one of them's like looking like he's like, actually it's 2 people. One of them's on his way back, like with a shovel, defeated, like head down, like walking like this is how far he got. Yeah. And gave up. And the other one's like digging his own shit at the same point that the guy gave up. And right next to it, it's all the diamonds. Right. And this other guy's digging into it, going all crazy. And the other guy gave up right before. And that meme struck out to me because I was like, I need to be like this dude right here. Yeah. I need to not, because they dug the same distance. Yeah. But this dude's here is just, he looks ravenous. He looks like he's starving for those diamonds. Yeah. And the other dude looks defeated and like broken. Right. And, you know, some of the most successful people that I look up to will all kind of say the same thing. Like you only fail when you throw in the towel. Yeah. If you don't throw in the towel, you're still on that journey.
Yeah. It's like Malcolm Gladwell says it's 10,000 hours for you to become an expert in anything. And it's
absolutely.
Like 10,000 hours is a lot of fucking hours.
It's a lot of time. Like, it's a lot of time. And people are like too soft to like embrace that. Yeah. You know, we live in that age of instant gratification. I need it now.
Well, 30-second TikToks is how you live your life. Like thinking about having to do something for 2 hours.
Yeah. You know how I feel every time I see some post about somebody dying, getting BBLs in some weird country or some shit like that. I'm just like, girl, you could have just gone to the gym. Yeah. You could have just fixed up your diet and like, oh, you want a BBL? Cool. Go on a caloric surplus, put on some muscle in your lower body and then diet. And shed the fat and show the muscle. Like there's the answer. You know, like I had a client of mine who she was turning 40 and she had asked me to work with her. Right. Yeah. But she was like, she's like, I know you're not going to like this, but I'm gifting myself a BBL for my birthday. Right. And I was like, okay, for sure. But like, okay, why? Like what, aren't you spending a lot of money? Right. She's like, yeah, you know, it's just, yeah, I'm putting in like 10,000 and I'm like, so you're hiring me to help you achieve, like she was hiring me to help her fix her lifestyle so she could retain the results she was going to get. And I was just like, it didn't make any sense to me. It's like why you would go and spend $10,000 and then at the same time hire me to like help you do, you just Like it was just weird. I was like, you could have just not gone to BBL and been patient. It's like, no, it's my gift to myself because I'm turning 40. I'm like, okay, happy birthday.
In case anyone doesn't know, what BBL is a Brazilian butt lift.
Yeah, Brazilian butt lift, which is like all the rage on social media now.
Yeah, it's like an implant in your ass and like a bunch of.
I think I think they put the fat that you have. Well, it's like a liposuction where they like put the fat.
They redistribute.
They redistribute the fat to make it look a little juicier in the gluteus area, right? And
you're like, you could just diet and squat.
Right. And so, dude, after she got done with the surgery, because she did the surgery and she had a recovery period, she was telling me that the doctor told her, like, don't be too active because you're gonna burn the fat. And when she told me that, I was just like, hold on. So he was like, eat, make sure you don't starve. And like, don't be too active. Just keep it to some light walking and like, be careful because if you overwork, you're going to burn the fat off. And I was like, because she hired him, like she paid him to do liposuction and a BBL. And I was like, this guy's got a fucking business model. Let me just charge people to like move their fat from their belly to their ass, tell them to behave in a way where they're going to come back in 5 years.
To do it again.
And again and again. And people will do it. Right. And when she was telling me, I was like, this guy wants you to like get fat again. Like he just wants you to not like your butt is bigger because you have fat on it, not because you put muscle on it. Right. So like this guy, this guy doesn't want you to
burn the fat off. Or he does.
Or maybe he just wants you to live in a lifestyle where you're going to need him again.
Right. Like, and liposuction hurts. It's really pain. I had it because I had my boobs reduced a few years ago. And so they do the lipo on the side. Okay. And that was like the most, I've had, 10 surgeries. Recovering from the lipo was part of the heart. Like that hurt the most. Wow. Out of a lot of shit I've had done. Like my neck surgery and my lipo, probably on the same par.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was telling me the same. She was recovering for a while.
And for that, you have to wear like the compression stuff. So you're like in Spanx for weeks, I think. Right? Like, I mean, it's hella expensive.
and you could just be a little more patient and do it the right way.
Right. 6 to 8 months in the gym and you'll probably get
better results. Like better results that last forever, And
you're training yourself to have that consistency of keeping your body strong and moving.
Like learning to deal with adversity. Dude, every time I train with somebody, every time somebody signs me up for training or signs up with me for training, I always have a conversation with them about like, are you ready for something to happen in your life to like make you want to stop doing this? Like you should be ready to experience some hardship while trying to introduce this lifestyle into your current life.
Yeah. Yeah, because something's going to happen. An injury, a financial,
I hope not an injury. Right. I hope not an injury, but usually like something always happens. And you know who Nipsey Hussle is?
Who?
Nipsey Hussle.
Oh, yeah. The rapper.
Yeah. Nipsey Hussle is one of my biggest role models. Somebody I looked up to my whole life before his passing. And in an interview one time, he broke down this concept that I'm talking about in such an easy way to understand, right? And, you think about somebody that hires a coach or a trainer, like they're trying to improve their life. It's real easy to say they're trying to elevate, right? They're trying to go up, right? And just like a spaceship that needs to leave Earth, there's a specific escape velocity that they need to be traveling at in order for the gravitational pull not to keep them in the atmosphere.
Right.
Right? So as you start going from the Earth's crust up into the atmosphere, you need to be able to break through that friction, right? To get to where you need to go to. If you don't try to go up, you won't experience the friction.
Right.
Stay there. Stay on Earth if you want to stay on Earth. But if you're trying to be in space, you need a specific speed that is able to break through that friction and allow you to enter that void or reality, right? And this is exactly what happens when anybody hires a again, this is my personal view on spirituality and stuff, but when you're personally committed to improving yourself and the reality around you, right? When you make that like contract with the universe, where you're like, I'm committed, I want this.
Right.
I feel like the universe is like, really? Okay. We'll see how bad you want it.
Yeah.
Let me throw you this little curveball. See how easy it is for you to get thrown off track. Oh, that's all it took? Bullshit. You're just talking out your ass. That's the conversation that the universe has with you. And you have to be okay with the idea that like, yo, if you want to elevate, if you want to rise above where you're at, there's going to be friction.
Yeah.
If
And
you're
how are
not-
you going to deal with that
Yeah.
friction?
And if you're not okay with that, you're going to struggle finding happiness, because there is no happiness in complacency. It's a depressive place to be.
Yeah.
Being complacent and being stuck in the same place for 30 years is soul killing, like soul crushing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why some people like live depressed.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what they're pursuing. They don't know there's like, why am I here? I'd rather be dead.
Yeah.
Like, why live again? Why see the sunrise and set and me feel like I didn't do nothing today?
Yeah.
Right? And that's what happens when you get stuck in one place. Every time you try to level up, there's that version of yourself that's required to exist in that plane of existence. And if you haven't become that, that friction develops that.
Yeah.
You know, again, we're talking about like people that are in business for a year and don't see anything out of it. It's like, yeah, that's the friction. That's the friction.
Yeah.
Are you okay with it, or is it too much for you to handle?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because my journey as a trainer, like I when I quit my job at 24 Hour Fitness, I started working at my cousin's personal training gym, right? And, everybody has a different personality. My cousin, I love him to death. He's always somebody that I'm going to have a special place in my heart for. When he was running his business, I thought I was going into a different situation. I thought I was going to get more support. I thought I was going to get a mentor. I thought I was going to get somebody who was like seeing that if I made a lot of money, they had somebody who'd always pay them rent.
Right.
He wasn't that. And I was very like on my own. He was helpful sometimes, but it was always kind of like, all right, dude, like go figure it out. Versus
Here's
like, here, bro, like I got you. I know exactly what you're going through. Do this instead. It wasn't that. And the first 2 years of my life as a trainer, right, I developed my sales ability. So like when it comes to like closing a sale, which for anybody who doesn't know, like if you're in sales, you didn't make a sale until you collect the money.
Right.
Like if you didn't collect money, you didn't sell shit. They're just saying they're going to buy, but fuck or walk, right? Have you seen that movie, Glengarry Leads or Glengarry Glen Ross?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like it's always be closing. And if you're not, you haven't made the sale. Right. So even when I started training for myself, it was very easy for me to be like, all right, it's going to be $400. Cool. Venmo or Cash App?
Right.
Zelle? Cool. All right, bet. Go ahead and pull your phone out.
Right.
All right. And people would be like, oh shit, right? Because you have to sell the training.
Right.
So for me, that wasn't hard. Accessing my network and people that I lived around and high school people that I like, it wasn't hard for me to pick up clients.
Right.
But I didn't know how to deliver results. And I didn't know how to do that, and I wasn't getting the help. So eventually what would happen is, hey, man, I don't have the money. Like something came up. It's always this. It's always, I no longer see this as an investment that is worth my time. Like I'm not getting the ROI
Right.
that makes this make sense for another month. And eventually, after about 2 years of me trying to figure out what, in those first 2 years, right, I realized like, I don't know shit. I should probably go to college and take a nutrition class. Thankfully, I came across the most dope professor at a community college at Chabot College over there in Hayward.
Okay.
She was a dietitian who basically gave up on working in the medical field because she was like, dude, everybody that comes to work with me is already fat and unhealthy. They don't even want to get healthy. They just don't want to die, but they don't want to do what it takes to live healthy. They just want to
they want a shortcut.
Yeah, I'm not making the impact that I would want to make. I'm not helping the people that I want to help. She's like, I think I could make a bigger impact by teaching younger generations how not to get to that point. So I was like, great, I'm a trainer. Like I don't know shit about nutrition. Like I know carbs, proteins, fats, and I know like calories, but I don't know how this fucking makes sense for individuals.
Right.
Right. And that class was like the foundation for my ability to decipher information. You know what I'm saying? Like I've learned so much more since that class, but that class allowed me to detect the bullshit versus the reality. You know what I'm saying? And, it was cool because I would take class and I would go straight to the gym after to work with my clients. And I would start trying to apply the information as soon as I learned it. So it was like the perfect setting.
Nice.
Right? I was like looking for books to read to like learn. I came across the right books. I feel like in those first 2 years, I acquired the skill to train people and talk about nutrition, but my business failed. I did not succeed. I ran out of customers. I was looking at a bartending opportunity when I was presented with the opportunity to work with Orange Theory.
Oh, nice.
And I remember my friend was like, yo, man, you want to come teach group fitness classes? Like, you're really good at training, bro. Like, I see you on Instagram, da-da-da. I'm like, dog, I can't train one person successfully. And you're talking about a group class? In my head, I'm thinking like, the fuck?
Right.
How does that make sense? But it was like an opportunity to stay in the fitness industry. And I had heard great things about Orange Theory. So I was like, fuck it. We'll see.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like my life is riddled with like circumstances where it just seemed like divine intervention, right? But the individual that trained us that week for our studio launch, because we were gonna launch the San Mateo studio, so they needed coaches for that studio. So they brought like 5 people. They brought like 8 people actually to interview, and the coaching interview is real interesting. They put you on a mic the first time before they invite you to the week of training. They put you on a mic at a studio just to see how you sound, just to see if you sound confident, just to see if you could be something they could develop. Right. Did that. They loved me. I have a cool voice for like talking. So that was exciting for them. And I sounded like an intelligent trainer. You know, I'd been doing it for 2 years already, and I'd been desperately collecting information. So I knew what I was talking about, and I had confidence with what I was expressing. Went to the training, and that training was so interesting because the first 3 days are like, the first 2 days, they teach you shit. Day 3 is like the tryout. Okay. Day 3 is like, you either make it or you don't. Day 4, they teach you the rest. Day 5, you're opening the studio. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's like, we had 8 people, 3 dropped off, 5 of us stayed. 1 of them dropped off at the end. So it was like 4 of us made it to the end. Even on the day before the tryout, like Tuesday night, thankfully I had keys to the gym that I was doing personal training at still. Right. Because this was like me finding this opportunity before I had to pay rent the next month. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I wasn't going to have rent for the next month. And I was just like, well, shit, I still got the keys. Let's go back to the gym and let's rehearse the script. Because the tryout was basically like the script for how you lead people in a class and gets the class started. Yeah. So we were just rehearsing the script, going over it. We stayed up to like 3 a.m. just because the guy that I think he totally reverse psychology does, right? Like the guy that was teaching us was really like, he was not an asshole, but he definitely knew how to make you feel dumb if you really wanted that job. You know what I'm saying? So like
he was going to make you work for it.
Yeah. He was awesome. I learned a lot from him.
Excuse me 1 second.
No, you're good.
I said, help yourself to anything in the fridge.
So it was like a Tuesday. He told our boss, I don't know how much truth there was in here, but he told our boss essentially like feedback, like how are these guys doing? Right. And when it came to me getting that feedback, the guy that my studio manager at the time was like, yeah, bro, you're like you're about to get cut. Oh, he's like, you're doing the worst out of everybody. And I was like, damn, bro. Okay. Fuck. Like, but he gave that feedback to everybody. Right. He told everybody we were like the worst one. Right. And we didn't realize that until we talked about it when we were hired. Yeah. Right. But so we were all like, no, we want this job. Right. So we studied till like 3 a.m. We were like, yo, we got to be there at 7. Like, let's go to bed. Like, cool. We got there. We got the job. Right. Cool. Got the job. In teaching classes in San Mateo was like the confirmation that I was on the right track. Because at Orange Theory, it's like a strength training workout with like there's like weights and there's cardio and you do some rowing on a rowing machine. And everybody at that studio loved taking my class because I was one of the few coaches that had the level of comfort that I expressed in the weight room. Right? Because we would sell Orange Theory. It's like personal training, but like not personal training costs. Right? Yeah. But I was delivering personal training while running the workout. And I found myself able to easily access or enter a flow state while teaching class. Like it was, they write the workout out for the company. Right. So like, I don't have to create my workout. I just have to go in and see, okay, this is what we're doing today. Cool. And I just have to lead it.
Yeah.
And make sure to provide an amazing experience. It's a fucking party. Make it so that people want to come back.
Right.
And the pay was based on attendance. So as long as I'm selling, as long as this class is packed,
you're making good money.
I was making like 115 a class.
Nice.
But the potential was 115. It wasn't like that was the guaranteed. Like the guaranteed was like 30. But the potential was like 115. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this was 6 years ago. So Orange Theory was still
new,
bubbling, new. San Mateo, there was no other studio in that area in San Mateo, in that peninsula area. They've got like 4 more studios since then, like around all the different little cities. But back then, if you wanted to do Orange Theory, you had to go to San Mateo, right? Mm. And it was easy to pack that studio, right? And that job for me was like the, damn, dude, like I'm just like, I didn't realize I was so good at this, right?
What was the culmination of your 2 years of the prep that you had done?
Right, yeah. And it like if I would have given up, like I thought I was going to. Because again, dude, like I was already ready to throw in the towel. I was like, you know what? Who the fuck am I going to train?
Right.
Like I don't have any testimonials to be. I had some testimonials. Like it wasn't like I just was terrible, but it wasn't. I was not like, yo, I could just get new clients tomorrow, right? And I could have quit. I didn't. I saw the opportunity. I didn't doubt myself. I pursued it, gave it my best, landed in a situation that made me feel like I was on the right track 2 years into my journey, right? It took the pandemic to make me feel like, yo, look at what happens when you have a job.
Right.
You get fired. You get laid off. There goes your income, dog. You should probably have a business. I've always been an entrepreneur, right? Like I've always had, like in high school, I wasn't really like focused in school, like homework wise.
Right.
Like I wouldn't carry my homework in my backpack. I would carry like mangoes and pineapples and like tahini and lemon. And I would like sell pineapples and mangoes to all the white kids at Castro Valley High. I'd be like, oh, these kids, they never had no mango with the lemon. Like, let me, $4 a bag.
Tried tahini?
Yeah, I was like $4 a bag. I was making like 60, 70 bucks a day in school, awesome. Right? Like, but the thing was, again, my lack of discipline. Like, I would rather not, like, I wasn't thinking yet about like, yo, I got to go buy my mangoes. I got to slice them up. You know, my grandma, rest in peace to my grandma. She's an awesome, awesome, awesome lady. And she would like slice my shit for me, right? My mom one day was like, yo, like, she's not your worker, bro. Like, she's done doing that. My dumb ass should have just paid her.
Right.
I should have been like,
or cut it yourself.
Or cut it myself. But like really, if I had just broken my grandma off a little piece of bread, like she was doing it because she loved me. She was like, I ain't got nothing to do. I'll slice some mangoes. I was like, cool, grandma, thanks. I should have just given her like a cool $30 and have my your inventory, my supply set every day. Yeah. And my grandma and I could have made some money like as a team. But I was
you were a kid.
I was a kid, had no entrepreneurial experience and made the mistake of starting a business that I couldn't sustain for more than 2 weeks.
Right.
But man, those 2 weeks were fun. I had the whole office staff. Like I stopped selling to kids. I just started making rounds in the office.
So yeah, you've had an entrepreneurial spirit
my whole life. Now
you're developing that into your own thing.
Yeah, but like that's what I've always geared towards. Yeah. So it was again tying back to the start of this podcast where I talked about, you know, my girlfriend getting pregnant and me feeling like, okay, I cannot depend on another person to put food on my plate. I need to be able to put food on my family's plate.
Right.
So here I am, right? 8 years later, you know, I started the business 3 years ago. Here I am now, 2 years away from achieving my first decade in this industry. I still feel like I'm so new, right? Like I see people that I'm like, damn, I can't wait to be like that one day, right? But my 19-year-old self or the kid who looked out the window and was like, damn, I would want to do that for a living. Like if I walked into that office and been like, bro, this is what you're going to be doing 8 years from now. I would have been like so excited for that journey. I would have bought the ticket right away. Yeah. But like, let me get on that journey. Let me get on that train. I want to go to that destination. I couldn't have dreamt a better outcome. Yeah. Right. And
no, that's awesome. And it's a good thing to kind of point out and remind people, like, don't just look at where you are now and where you want to go. Remember where you came from. Because then it gives you more gratification and like accomplishment to realize like, all right, yeah, like that's where I was. This is where I wanted to be. And I did that. And now I'm going to go do this. And we can't wait to see what you build.
Yeah. I'm excited, dude. I'm excited. I appreciate your time. This was like such an effortless conversation.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been great. And I can't wait to take another class.
Yeah.
And we'll post updates and we'll have you come
Are
back.
you coming tomorrow or what?
Not tomorrow.
Are you going to be like do you think Friday or Monday or?
Maybe, yeah. It's hard. The only problem.
Did I tell you about my event?
No.
No?
Tell us about your event.
Yeah. So do you know when you're going to post this by any chance?
Probably by next week.
So my event's this Sunday.
Oh, all right.
So it's okay if you can't post it by that. No worries. For anybody who's listening, I'm hosting a 2-hour workshop on Sunday, the 19th, 10 a.m. If you have any friends or people who you think might be interested in joining you, I can give you guys a discount code. I only have 20 tickets.
Sweet. Well, even if we don't get this out, we'll throw it up on the site and put it out just in case.
I'll send you the flyer and stuff like that. And, I've already sold 6 tickets. Nice. So I got like 14 spots left and I'm pushing it heavy this week. It's only Tuesday. Yeah. I got some time. It's a 2-hour workshop. I'm going to be teaching what I deem to be 7 of the most well-kept industry secrets in the fitness industry for better health.
All right.
I want to just share those with everybody who attends. I'm going to share and teach a full body dynamic warm-up routine, like a stretching routine.
Nice. That
you can use at any point in your life to just feel a little bit better, get the blood flowing, get the energy releasing and moving in the right direction. In addition to whoever attends this workshop, I'm going to send a video series on the fundamental nutrition knowledge, the basics. Like what are calorie counting? What's what are macros? What's a carb? What's a protein? What's a fat? What are minerals and vitamins? And like tying it all together, like whatever. Like those videos, these are videos that I send my nutrition clients before we meet. I send it over so that they can almost get the information for us to talk about.
Yeah, that way you guys have a baseline of what to go on.
Yeah, we have a mutual understanding, so I can have a conversation with somebody who isn't ignorant. Now we're conversing. I'm not teaching. Right. So I usually charge $600 to just get you in my nutrition program, so I could send you those videos. I'm giving that as part of the workshop, and I'm going to teach for about it's going to be like 90 minutes of teaching, 30 minutes of freestyle, fun. Right. The workshop might go longer than 2 hours. Who knows? Whoever has to leave can feel free to leave. Whoever wants to stay, I'm not going to charge extra.
Right.
But it's 2 hours. I'm going to teach foundations of rope flow with the goal of being able to have like a 30-minute freestyle where people are just like putting some things together and like blending movements, and we'll see how it goes. It's my first time doing something like this. It's my first time charging for an event ever. I've gotten my clients together, but I've always done it like, hey, group on the house, like everybody come. I'm not charging, just everybody come get together. Yeah. Right. This time it's like, no, I want 20 people and I'm charging 120 per person. Nice. Like, let's go. Come on.
Yeah. And that's a lot of knowledge that they're going to get for 120 bucks.
Yeah. It's a lot of knowledge. Like the next couple of years of my life, I'm committed to just giving away so much value that it's inevitable for me to just bump into the energy coming back. Right. I listened to a podcast recently. I don't know if you know Andy Frisella. Mm-hmm. You know who Alex Hormozy is? Yes. They both got on the same podcast together. Didn't I? I don't know if I told you about it.
We talked. Yeah, we did.
I told you about it. I sent it to you. Okay, so they both got on a podcast together. And the second episode, because it's a 3-hour conversation, they broke it down into 2 episodes. Right. In the second episode, they're talking about like characteristics and personalities that help people either win or potentially cause them to lose. Mm-hmm. Right. And Alex Hormozy was explaining that like, because they got into the conversation of like getting taken advantage of for being too nice. Oh yeah, being too giving. People taking advantage of them for just them giving too much, right? And they were both talking about how it's a shame when people allow that to let them stop being givers. Right. Right. It's going to happen in life when you're successful and you love to give that people will take advantage of you. Like it's just a natural fact. Yeah. But Alex Hormozy was talking about some study. And again, it'd be better for whoever's listening to go to the podcast and listen to it. I'm just going to, these are the spark notes. So excuse me if I'm not all the way on point with what he said, but he was talking about a study that they did where they took different personality types, right? And it was like givers, matchers, and takers. Yeah. So people who just match what they get, people who just give without expecting in return, and people who take and never give, right? And you know, they were doing this study with like in game theory, where it's just like trying to see how outcomes are, you know, how decisions shape outcomes and stuff like that. Over the long horizon, in the short term, right, you would see like takers kind of succeeding faster. Right. You would see matchers that would kind of stagnate, not go anywhere, not go back, but not really go anywhere. And over the long term, you would see that givers were constantly the ones that were excelling and seeing these like exponential growth opportunities, right? And the reason for that is just because those who match, right, they give as much as they take. Right. There's never an abundance of opportunity. Right? And those who take and never give burn all their bridges. Eventually, they have nobody else to give them shit. Right? But the people who give and give and give and give, essentially, you're like knocking on every door that you could possibly knock on. And yeah, some people might not answer the door. Right. Chances are, if you give enough, eventually there's going to be an abundance of doors that are open for you to walk through and opportunities that you can take advantage of because you gave so much. And, you know, that's kind of where I'm at right now in my business, is that I love what I do. You know, it costs me nothing to hold inventory. Right. It costs me nothing to deliver the service other than some manpower. So for me, it's like my clients right now, or anybody who signs up with me in the next couple of months, is getting spoiled with my time, because I'm like, yeah, I'm charging you for an hour, but if the workout that we're doing means that you're going to leak into the second hour by like 15 or 30 minutes, well, as long as you don't have a problem with there being other people working out alongside you, like it's kind of like, hey, the client at 6 is coming at 6 to train from 6 to 7. Right. If you're the 5 o'clock client training into the 6:30 slot, into the 6 slot, well, there's going to be somebody at 6. And if that's okay for both of you guys, right, great. The 7 o'clock slot will be cool with the 6 o'clock being in there. And now you're like, I'm like giving people training for more than 60 minutes. Like I'm like charging for an hour, giving like 2 hours sometimes. Right. And
you're building community. Right. Because those people are seeing each other, and then they're building
consistently, they're building relationships. Like, and the way I see it is I'm just giving, it's like it's not on a selfish level, but it's more like I still feel like I need the practice. I still feel like I need to know that this workout is going to have this effect to see if this workout is the right workout, or if I need to do more or less. And I won't know that if I don't let them complete the workout. Right. And I feel like an asshole being like, yo, it's 6. Be like, stop. 6 o'clock. You're done. Clean up. I'll see you later. Like, that just doesn't seem organic to me whatsoever. Right. So for me, I'm like, hey, oh, fuck, it's 6. Hey, do you have anywhere to be? Oh, you don't? Cool. Finish the workout. Right. Like, oh, you got to go? See you later. No worries. Hey, I get it. You have to go. I'm over here telling you to stay another 30 minutes. My bad. Yeah. Right? I'm giving too much for free apparently, but it's under the idea that I know it's going to return when I least expect it. And right now I'm at a place where I'm just ready to give and give and give and build that like community of people that will give back, right? You know, and will allow my business to grow while they grow. And that's the cool thing about training, is it's a win-win for both parties if you succeed, right? Like I'm invested in all of my athletes, because if they don't succeed, I don't get paid. Right. And the more they succeed, the more people they send you, the more people you get to help, which is fulfilling your destiny. And just imagine for you right now, like for example, when you were trying to get fit, right? You're doing it on your own. Yeah. How great would it feel to know that there's somebody who is on your ass about your success, who cares about your success, who's thinking about your success, who doesn't have anything else to do but think about your success? I'd probably have better abs. you would just true speak. I'd be further along. It feels good to have somebody who's helping you along the way. Well, yeah. Anytime you have support, it makes things more enjoyable and easier. And on the days when you're like, fuck, I don't want to do this, it's like, all right, but at least I get to see you. At least I get to see, you know, the person that comes in after me, or the person that was before me. You know, it gives you like something else to focus on other than yourself, which is sometimes easier. Absolutely. Like yesterday, I had one of the people that took my landmine class, and she's going through some bullshit with some of her, like the pipes in her house. Like she's having a lot of issues with the plumbing, and she's having issues with like I can't even tell you what she's dealing with. Long story short, lawyers are involved, and she's just like constantly unable to come to class because she's dealing with some bullshit with her lawyers or some shit like that. So yesterday she came to class, had a great class, and after class she was talking about how frustrated she was walking into class. And how happy she was leaving because she felt like she got all that out. Yeah.
Well, now she's leaving with a winning mind state.
Exactly. And that felt amazing, hearing her tell other people that without me asking her to say that. She was just like, yeah, I did not want to come in today. And I was so mad coming in, but like, I feel so good now. And I'm like, that's exactly why I do what I do. You know, one of the reasons why it allows people to experience that. And I get to do it in like sweatpants.
Yeah.
And a hoodie. Like I don't have to wear no dress shoes and uniform or nothing, you know? So I love it.
Well, we love it. And we thank you for coming in today. Thanks for coming to hang out with us and telling us about rope flow and just everything that we've talked about.
Yeah.
And people can catch you on Instagram and your website.
Yeah. So my website is winningmindstate.com. Instagram, you can follow me at coach__ Camilo. Okay. It's 2 underscores.
We'll have links on the website and everything to you.
Cool.
Yeah. And you do, if you're not here in the Bay, you can catch you on virtual classes too.
Yeah.
So anyone that's not around.
Remote coaching if you live in Arkansas and you need a trainer. I would love to help you out. We got programs you can follow online. We could do virtual stuff as well. And at worst, I can always help you find
someone
the right professional in your area. I could at least help you with a bullshit detector. Right. You know, tell me if you got 5 people you're considering, I'll tell you who I would pick.
All right. Thank you. Yeah,
thank you for your time. I'm excited to get back here. Anybody listening to this podcast, don't doubt your intuition. You know, your intuition always has a way of telling you what you really want. Unfortunately, we are trained to not listen to that. Yeah. And if you ever need some help getting your energy right, hire a Reiki master. You know what I'm saying? Our girl Karen, she's great. Yeah. And get your energy right. Listen to that intuition. And if you ever need some help, I got your back.
Thank you. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us, and go find some of your joy today.